සරණයි සියලු දෙනාට ධර්මයේ ශාන්තියක් වෙන්න ස්වාමීන් වහන්සේගෙන් අවසරයි පළවෙනිටම වගේම අද මං හිතන්නේ රිට්‍රීට් වගේ දවසක් කොහොමද අද ඔක්කොම සිල් අරන් වගේ කට්ටිය අද දවසම හිටියද සිල් අරන් අනේ කොච්චර දෙයක්ද කී දෙනෙක්ද එහෙම හිටියේ කතා නෑ අත ඔසෑහෙන ඉඳලා තියෙනවා නේද ඒකනේ තින් මම හිතන්නේ එහෙම arrange කරලා තිබ්බේ සිංහලෙන් ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් I don't know which මේක සිංහලෙන්මද එනම් ඉංග්‍රීසියෙන් මම කියන්නේ then I will tell in English okay this will be my last somehow someone says ප්‍රශ්න නෑ මෙලාමයි because this is going to be my last program in America almost like a marathon all marathons you just take it as it comes moment after moment so it was 4 days back I was feeling not very well in the sense my kind of not well is a different type of not well you might relate it with your tired or something I don't get tired impossible but I do get certain things where sometimes I bless people and it's like a operation fast operation you see I'm disturbing your natural process when that happens those things have to go somewhere you could say the side effects I am experiencing but very difficult most of you don't know about these things you're in a kind of a very much in this so in Texas I was thinking I must leave immediately but I felt very sad also to miss here and also to miss Canada. Funny, I mean, I don't know how much I have the desire to come and I just picture all of them like certain destined souls that I'm going to miss. But anyway, I made it here. And yesterday, how many of you were there yesterday? Right, okay. All right. Oh, yesterday program was very good, I think. And I hope you'll take that. Something will happen, definitely. I'll try to make it today also, I don't know. It's not in my hands. The only thing, how many of you are coming today only? Only few, no? So I just have to cover, I think. Sometimes it's so boring for me to cover. Did you all look at the YouTube after yesterday's program? Any of you look at it? No? Okay. Even other videos you will have, I cover certain points. I think for me it's boring, but I see that, I think this is my mission, to remove the ones that are blocking you to Nibbana. For first to mental peace, that is with stress. If you have mental stress, that kind of mental stress, first you have to remove that. Then only you're coming towards, when you have a general state of peace, you can achieve supreme peace. If you don't have even general state of peace, how can you achieve supreme peace? So sometimes we try to get shortcuts, like some quick analyzing, some insight, and try to overcome all the mistakes we did. I hope you can make it like that. But in case you don't make it, better to go on the sure path. You see, there are people like Angulimala and all that, but we don't know what kind of karma they did, but that was mainly the wisdom that liberated them. Even they were serial killers. But then definitely, we know that the Buddha has told always, with the perfection of sila we'll get samadhi, mental tranquility. And with tranquility, we'll get higher the tranquility, the greater the wisdom. Because wisdom is something connected with, you must have the samadhi. You're seeing things as they are. It's not some kind of, today we don't have that at all. We are just repeating something which from memory. It's not our personal experience. And so to make it a personal experience, I will just give you some points. Anyway, I'd like to start maybe with a question. Because there are a lot of people who came yesterday, I will cover those points who have come now, but make it interesting for me also. Any questions you like to hear?
Sorry to bring this up, but you can answer the question anytime, but it is connected to what we discussed yesterday.
Yes.
Okay?
Yeah, it's fine. It's okay.
So one day, I think there were 3 questions yesterday which were connected. And so I know that you said that you preach to the parents a lot. And the parents who are here with the kids are the parents who are always bringing their kids to the Dhammasala and all that. So I think the parents here agree with what you are saying, but sometimes when the message comes from a priest, it's better than coming from the parents, especially most of the parents are born to Buddhist families in Sri Lanka, so the thing that you don't question it. And again, there was a question yesterday from Thero about the Bible. And that is a common thing in the youngsters. They read the Bible.
Oh, okay.
And I encourage my kids to read the Bible too.
Okay.
Wrong.
Yes.
But immediate question comes to their mind is, why should somebody be following Buddhism for this life, not for the Nibbana path, but for this life? What is the benefit
Of Buddhism?
Yeah, compared to some other religion?
Okay.
So, and if that message, I mean, I can tell some things, and yesterday you gave some points at different parts of discussion, but if it comes as a sort of a takeaway message for the youngsters and also for us, so that we can tell that all the people have that same question, that will be beneficial.
So what do you get from other religions also for the present life? Say Christian, from the Bible or whatever. There are things, of course, people who are addicted to drugs and difficulties, they get peace. There are ways of getting peace from, that kind of, there's prayer, prayer meetings, and all religions have that solution, certain way. But yesterday I laid out things that, that is also very well known now in the scientific world also. That's why it's so interesting that Buddha's teaching is, it's in detail and in a solid way. There's no, if you try it immediately, sincerely, you just get results immediately. So I pinpointed also about the mindfulness, one aspect. This is also known today as a stress busting effect it has. And then it has this sense control. In detail, how to do it immediately at the senses when they are contacting. And then of course I expanded from that, how the addictions are being formed, and even to remove that there is a technique. You see, it's all those certain perceptions that we are caught up with. So, but I didn't go in detail about that, how to remove those perceptions. Maybe I might explain now, but it's interesting. Of any type of addiction at any level, there is the entire process, how the addiction works and how the addiction can be removed. It works with illusion and fantasy. So you break the illusion and fantasy. That's the solid way of removing that psychological drive. You understand? First, of course, I explained some forms where you get a sudden adina, we call it, like the sangvega. Oh my God, this is going to kill me, this is going to destroy me. But that is just like an immediate impact. Then the other one of removing that particular fantasy about it. So this modern day, of course, the Buddha's teaching, I think, is so. It is. I don't want to also sort of tell like this. Better you find it now. If someone is forcing you to read the Bible, or you're reading the Bible, it's okay. No need. If someone is forcing, don't go anywhere. I think because there's something wrong there. If someone really honestly, this thing, you listen to any knowledge. But don't make any conclusion without going through the other literature also. Not just going through it, practicing it. It's like you taste something and say, this is the only nice pancake you have, You must, without just having an idea at all of the other pancakes that are made. So you say, okay, this much I understand, but I can't say this is the only way. If I get the opportunity, I'll read and study other things, and you'd better study other things, and then you find out for yourself. I have seen to myself, because in terms of other religions, means I would say the Hindu yogis, this was something in my blood, in my nature, from the age of say 14, 15, 18, fully. And the Dhamma also, the analyzing and this was also rising the same time. So now I'm 46, from that age to this time, I experienced certain things. I came to the doorsteps of death. I told you that's what made me come here in Himalayas. That was 2014 and 15. And that's what made me come. And that time what helped me was not the samadhi, that ability where it's connected with divine energies, This doesn't work that time. It didn't work for me. 2-3 times it happened, and all those 3 times what to analyze, just to observe your very crisis and to see that there is no person there. It's just a happening. That really destroyed the worry or fear or this thing. So I saw how powerful this master of wisdom. That wisdom is the final thing that liberates you. So this I could say up till now, as far as I understand, that's so powerful. Now say when someone is shouting, with the sound you can't pray or do anything. But if you can take it as just a sound vibration, and it's just, this ear is like made out of, as I was trying to tell yesterday, like how you analyze and see whether this is really your ear. And when you practice those things, you can just not feel that negative thing. Like someone, say you hear some sound, someone shouting from the phone, okay, from another language that you don't understand. It doesn't make sense, right? You can nicely listen and wait. So if someone tells in your language, right, it creates perceptions in your head. And unless someone tells that person at the other end is a mad person, that will be fun, then you can also bear that. That, okay, you can this thing. But all that is because you think this is so real. And it creates those perceptions in the head. And you can, that if you don't get those perceptions, or you don't the perceptions, the sound may come, if the perceptions don't take place. So this perception is an illusion. Now if you get to know this kind of, these techniques, these are taught by the Buddha. He goes through and through into reality. And then he finds out the basic, the nature of what our experiences, whether it is material experience or in the material sphere, or if it is in the spiritual also. That is all experience inside or outside, either way. So both he sees that is a state of consciousness. No one is experiencing anything unconscious. It is a conscious state of experience, whether it's peaceful experience or something. So this, when you know its emptiness, and that is not a personal thing. It is something that it comes in one form one time, another thing another time. It's not the same thing. When you have to observe it, and it should become a personal knowledge. Then there's a brain that happens, the part of the brain where it separates, doesn't take it seriously. Like you begin to know it's a dream. And when you know you're dreaming, and if you're conscious of it, that you're dreaming, even if a nightmare comes, it's fun, It's not, because you're not, that's the way you can really check whether you're touch some part of this enlightenment. You can really feel at ease and peace. So, how old are you, most of you? How old are you, Mandi? Yes? 16?
17.
Oh my goodness. You want to be younger, right? At this age you want to be older, right? I remember myself, I'm waiting to become 18, get the driving license and things like that. But the funny thing happened, when I became 18, I completely changed. I don't know, some destiny work, I became like a monk in the mind. And I didn't want any of these things in the world. Shall I tell that part of I can't tell how I came to this, because there are a lot of people who are similar to me. How old are you there, the last one? Who is leaning on the, 23, okay. You also there whole day,
that.
Were you there whole day? Oh, I am so sad. I couldn't have given you some. That's very good that you did just come and stay like that. අද ඒගොල්ලෝ හිටියනේ. ඒගොල්ලෝ සාමාන්‍ය එනවද මහත්තයෝ? කොච්චර හොඳද? They are great. At your age, I mean, in this environment, if you're coming like that, you're destined for something. This is not ordinary. It's very great. You're not wasting your human plane, human life. But I wish I could have taught you something, how to spend the morning and how to, because you must know I'm on a marathon trip and nobody knows. Normally my programs are like just one is enough for rest of your life, I think. You don't need to, but unfortunately the organizers also hardly know who is this coming, nothing. They actually see me, maybe Vallabatta, and just here I was with LTT in the jungle, that's all, Himalayas, only that. And no idea what Himalayas or jungle even, right? These kind of people, they are in glass boxes but can't help it. And so they hardly know any idea about, and in yogis, they only know who they have associated already, the monks who are rushing from program to program. So they're putting into me also same situation. But but next time I'll be more. I will also little bit. Have to give some. I have to monitor what exactly they are doing. But they're doing it all. I know they're great people. They're also sincere. They have been in the mud too long. That's another problem. You see, like while we were protecting ourselves, they have been exposed in the battlefront, trying to practice these things definitely. But they also, I think, got touched with the defilements, the dishonesty of the modern society, So I hope my journey like this will just open up that, sincereness and talking to yourself and seeing your heart whether it is really in conformity. This is my main job, I hope. This is what I did for myself. That's why I was reluctant to come even to these countries long years ago when I found that I was not perfect enough. So I'll just give you just outline maybe for the new people who have come. Now this talking like this is quite tiring for me. So, okay. I must tell you, I was in, when I was a very young boy, we were in Lesotho, in Sri Lanka first. And were they yesterday hitiyadi babala hitiyada hitiyada ani kochchara hondada I was in southern Africa. Before that we were in Sri Lanka, and I must tell you I was so naughty at school. Those days I don't think you all are like that, Those days my hero was Bruce Lee, actually. But meanwhile, I was also doing a lot of, I was curious about, something, a yearning was there to make something perfect. A kind of, because my father was in there, it was like more engineering environment. And this drawing boards and all that. And so I was trying to design an engine that works with water. One reason was that I thought water, no problem, available, so that no need petrol. If such an engine is made, all our life problem will be solved. So that's how I saw when I was about 8, like this age. Anyway, then slowly I was interested in other engines also. And then one day I was trying to design a non-stop machine. I call it a non-stop machine that is transferring one energy from one to the other, springs, but it's not practical, I didn't have no idea about resistance, gravity, nothing. Friction, all that. I had no idea. So it was just in a theory form, but there was that yearning to find something that was, like that, non-stop machine. So someone asked me, I remember it was in New York somewhere, when I told about this, they asked, did you find the non-stop machine now, Bante? I think I told, I think I found it now, but not from an outside, it's from inside. Yes, I think I did find it in a certain way. So, but that was there, because that time no other material, except the engines and all that. So I was thinking, something like that. So anyway, age of 9, I had a romantic feeling about me and my friend, classmate. We were sort of pretending we are monks, and we were planning to run away from home. It was there for about 3-4 days, and we were going around a tree, thinking it's a Bodhi tree, that like we are monks. And so this was the only thought I had, I think. But my mother used to tell that whenever there was, I remember also when monks are going arms round, you see, far away, how much I'm playing or do anything like that, I used to run and go and worship the monks and come. So there's that unconscious respect and reverence, but nothing more. Just so it went on like that. But all this fighting was going on. Fighting means I used to get caning every other day. You know, maybe I was his size, thinner than him, shorter also, small mate, and I had a sort of inferiority complex also. And so those days, then we went to Lesotho, Southern Africa, at the age of 14. There this fighting stopped. Oh, I can't do that. You know, it was like more. Even in the school I went in Sri Lanka, also very strict school. But still, I was only like, you know, we used to tell the name of the school and just feel we are like very good. But I used to do all the opposite things. But in there, Lesotho, no fighting, no. So, but this energy, some boiling energy was there, something, you know, and I used to, that went for sports. Like even javelin, I used to throw this javelin, they used to ask, what do you eat? You know, like then cricket, for clubs I used to play them, then volleyball, basketball, all the sports, cross country, then I think 3 athletes I can't remember, 3-4 athletes, these things together. What was it? I can't remember also now. Anyway, all these sports I was doing. Now I was getting angry with close people, with my father, for example, but it was like in fits. Actually your age, you know, 15, 16, 17. It was tough time, but here it was little settling. So many I tell, when they are 17, I say, when they come with problems, I say, don't wait until you're 18, it'll be okay. Because that is, so, but when I used to get into that fits of this thing, I used to just sit down, and luckily I didn't do anything. But this period, I got also fascinated with, I was still researching. I got fascinated with theory of relativity. Especially the effect, the time can be stretched. How many of you know theory of relativity of Einstein? Anyone? Any young people? No? No idea? Physics students might know. You know, he says, like, you know, if something goes close to the speed of light, that the time slows down. Okay, so he gives the example, like if there are others also explain, like if you have 2 twins, you have one twin on Earth and one twin you put him into a spaceship and send near the speed of light for 1 year. So 1 year, this child, he spends 1 year, and this spaceship goes 1 year and comes back at the speed of, near the speed of light. When it comes back, they'll say 1 year has passed for this baby. For the other baby, it is only say 3 months or something like that. So now this was proven, you know, it was in a mathematical form, but it was proven in Geneva. The subatomic particles, I think, meson particle, they accelerated it to 1/4 of the speed of light, and it lived longer. So now it's very well known. So when I knew this, it just fascinated me. So that time I was reading everything, like the Bible, whatever I got hold of. Even Bible means I didn't go into it. I was just getting some points. From all things, I was getting some points only. And what was it? Then even the Bhagavad Gita, many things. And then mainly I was going through like this one, and I came across one of my mother's books. It's called Sakkapanya. This is how the Sakka, the king of gods, visit the Buddha. And there in that sutta it explains the nature of that plane, Tavatimsa. 1,000 years on earth is 1 day there. And such weeks, such months, like that. So when I saw that, it suddenly found then the other planes like Tusita, Yama, they are more lifespan. And longer period of time is different. And then now say for example, still if 2-3 days have gone there, it may be here centuries have gone. Okay? So when I knew that this is not a possibility, it's a fact that this time can be stretched, then I knew this do exist. You get it? That these planes do exist. They are not just some fairy tale or something. And when I knew like that, I have neglected my studies. So what I did, 2 days later, it was my English language, English literature paper. So night time, I sort of focus through this relativity and sort of focus the existence of this particular plane when I knew I had no doubt about it, that I was connected mentally and that these planes are powerful. And in that same time, I knew that I had the test papers of English language, literature, and the syllabus, and approximated the English language, English literature, the essay titles. Now this is about 30 marks. So anyway, after that I told my father next day to go to the tutor and write 2 essays under these 2 headings. So my tutor was wondering whether I have not studied everything. And then he wrote anyway, and we went. And when I went to the exam, when I got the papers, these 2 headings are there. So this was the first time I really, I felt like the universe was in my hand. This was, I would say, my first meditation. So, but that didn't give me the idea of becoming a monk. But based on these, certain thoughts came. One was like, I was thinking now, if something goes faster than the speed of light, mathematically it shows that it goes back in time. Now, can you see my hand? Can you picture the hand you saw? Did you picture? Can you remember, I mean? Do you remember? Now can you picture how you saw? When you picture, you are gone faster than the speed of light. This memory. So I related it to the memory, the psychological processes of memory, intuition, samadhi. These are, you're speeding in a way. And then I thought if there could be a speed, that time will stop. So that's we know by vipassana. This vidarshana, this wisdom we get is nibbana, is where time stops. No function of time, no the relatedness with time. We've always time has a beginning and an end, has a change. So changeless realm. So this was, I had it in a theoretical form. So while I used to go for walks now, when I came age of 18, I was to come to Princeton that time, okay? At your age, I was applying all these places. And 18, I was like about to come to study astrophysics. Because I thought that's the only way to understand this world, what I was studying. But I had an experience that time. So while I was going for walks, one day suddenly it just came to my mind like, anything that, it was like a very lonely situation, and suddenly it was like a mind picture that anything that begins in time definitely ends. It was like a mental vision. I don't know how to explain this. It's like something all just changing, finishing. And I should be like this. And their body, they are just covering with a robe, and it's just going to finish everything. So that time, even the mountains all look like jelly when I look. And I had no interest in anything. Then even Princeton, if I think of going there, I see the professors, everything disappearing. And I thought the thing that will stay long will be the granite building. You see? So then I saw the granite building also disappearing. Such a solid thing, right? In that experience, I had that was the beginning, I would say. And there I told my father in the end, all these things I didn't tell. Only later years what happened I was telling. I stopped talking also a lot. My personality completely changed. And then after that, we came to Sri Lanka, and many other things were starting to come. Then I met my master, a German monk, and he was like, he introduced me to the ancient sutras, direct teachings of the Buddha. And when I went through them and meditated further later on, I had similar experiences which inspired me that this is the way, you see. So I just cut short this whole thing. So then when I was 28, I became a monk. I did go to Himalayas also as a layman and to stay with my teacher long periods. But as a new monk, I was invited by one gentleman first time to America, in Washington, D.C. I think he was working in the World Bank. So what I told him that time was, I will come when I am an arahant. Okay, I was not joking about it. Arahant means, like I didn't care about the name. I was just thinking when I'm not getting angry or greedy or anything, or have no ego, that time I will come to share that knowledge of the mind, that peace of mind. But then, so I told him I will come only then. So anyway, time went on. I had many, then in 2003 I was with the LTT, the terrorist area. And I must tell you, all these times I used to practice where it was all practical. When I saw the terrorists, it was not, I didn't see them as terrorists. I saw them as Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Vijnana. As these from something I trained in the jungle. So there, it's another story if I'm going to tell. It took me 1 month from south of Sri Lanka. All this walking, my friends, not this vehicle or anything. Here is I think in this from Australia also, and here, this is the longest time I have been going in vehicles after becoming a monk. So I make it a point that I don't lose all this my old training. So I tell them sometimes to drop me little, before the monastery or programs. Now, these only 2 programs here. So, but otherwise I tell, because at least something I must keep of my old life. And I must continue that life also. Because that gave us a certain training. Not to be like, then you learn to live on faith and just as it comes. Otherwise we live an artificial life, you understand? We have contacts with all the dayakas and, bed and call, you could call it. And this way my teacher told all these things. We are not going to be trained. So for many years, I was living this particular life. And so in Sri Lanka, I make sure I had no contact. I mean, I have few people like, 3-wheeler, someone, if I had to really go, 2-3 people, but they also I change, so that they also not becoming very familiar with me. So you can you can keep your life going on the path without getting trapped by all these, sensual, Gnanaloka objects. So anyway, and then I went on 2003, then 2004 was from forest to forest, another period where so these are old stories, sometimes I tell how I managed to overcome pain in the jungle, where leeches, and how I use the old texts of analyzing, observing. So this, I feel so bored also to talk about these things again and again, but they were very helpful, and we might be able to relate. I might bring out one in case if I see whether it is maybe very useful for you all. But in great pain also you'll find out, she was asking, how much, if you learn these techniques of seeing and this thing, you can be cool any place. Whether it's in traffic block or whether policemen catch you or whatever, or in any authority, there's no authority than, a person practicing according to his heart. He can face anywhere. He will not be frightened of anything. That's the greatest blessing you get from this practice. Fear will be also something foreign to you. So then anyway, went on like that. But I must tell you the recent things that happened which made me come like this. 2014 and 15, I face actually a near-death experience. This for the new people, yesterday they heard all these things what I said. But this is where I was in 2014 and 2009 onwards. I'm going to a Himalayas area called Kailash, Mansarovar. So this area, it is the western Tibet. This high altitude. I don't know whether any of you have gone to any high altitude areas. About 3,700 meters, then you get this sickness. About near 4,000 meters, yes, you surely will get. So normally the best way is to acclimatize slowly. You slowly ascend. Like 3 days, 4 days, then you get used to the oxygen level is low. So I have experienced this, but it was not critical. We all experience headache, breathlessness, and all these things. But this time, I experienced in such a way that it was when I'm going, like you have like Kora, where we do the trekking. To the second day, I really got it. So I had my guide and the driver. So there, my whole face was like blue, no blood, getting blue. And they were, what can they do? They can't do anything. I just have to move on. And I'm imagining all the time over a few meters, maybe there's a vehicle or a donkey or even a horse You can't imagine, you can never get there. You just have to use your legs, no stretcher, nothing. So anyway, I moved on, and actually I thank my parents to giving me this body, that it can withstand this situation. And then we came to a lake called Manasarova. In this particular lake area, there I was actually, the night time, I was not sure whether I'll make it until next day morning. I was full of, I was choking. And then I thought, I might not make it, so I was preparing to leave this body. So when I was leaving, we have a practice, just to see as Rupa, Vedana, Sanya, Sankhara, Vijnana. And this I already had an experience with it in Knuckles range, when I was lost in the forest, and then some robbers found me. And there I had a lot of pain, wounds from the leeches, and when I was recovering, just to make up my mind, when I tried to practice, the samadhi didn't work. And then I remembered my teacher has told to memorize certain striking sutras. And that is where the analyzing part of who you are, who is this self, where is this self? This, to have this practice, so there I remember it was this Anatta Lakkana Sutta, where the Buddha says how the Vedana, Sanya, feelings, perceptions, and the body, how they are not yours. How to observe it and to notice that it's not yours. So when I was doing that, I found the pain was reducing. I was so impressed I had so much faith that these techniques have such a power to remove your pain, whether it's physical or mental. So after that, every day I used to do this exercise, after this experience in 2004. So this I was going to prepare now. Now I knew I might die, let's die peacefully. So when I was going to focus on that meditation in the Himalaya, that place, 2014, that night time, suddenly the thought came, I couldn't share enough with the people. That I have been avoiding the people for so many years now. That is just to make myself perfect. And I thought I have not shared enough, but can't help it now. And then I was preparing myself. So anyway, I will cut short the story. They managed to keep me alive. And then 2015 also I faced the same situation. But it was like the worst I had. It was like no return journey. And there, they were trying to evacuate me from helicopter from Takalakot border. And we missed the helicopter. And then we have to use the vehicle. We came and slowly descend and cross our fingers. So there also the same thing happened. The thought came, I couldn't share enough with the people. And now can't help it. So anyway, they brought me to Kathmandu. And in Kathmandu, from Lhasa, the flight to Lhasa is the capital of Tibet. Okay, Tibet is under China. You might don't know how far you know about it. So it's high security zone. It's very strict rules there above the Chinese. So we passed so many army bases to get to where I'm going. So anyway, what happened there? Then in Kathmandu, when I was recovering, a certain thing happened. I must tell you this also. I hope it will make some impact. There I have heard about Mara. You know the Mara. Have you heard about Mara? No idea of Mara, is it? Okay, like demon. Okay, all right. It's like super demon, I kind of had an attack of super demon, I would say. I have heard in books how when monks are meditating, Buddha, when he was this thing, that how this demon came and attacked him. Or Satan, it's a word they know. So then suddenly when I had this experience that time, I will tell you, I can't tell you what exactly happened because I have told the senior monks, but I can't tell all. Maybe one day in the future, I hope I can reveal everything. But no need, I think, because it might be able to relate it. It was like I could tell, like my robes were about to be removed. Something like this happened. Okay. It was so I thought I was so strong and fit and so many meditation for so many years, but this was something like a close call. And then I unconsciously, I didn't know I was having attachment to this. Where you attach to, this thing enters. It may be even spiritual attachment. So where I was attached or where I sort of valued, something happened where it sort of, I felt so disillusioned or really dumbstruck. And at that situation, I had nothing to hold on to. Just to survive, I was looking here and there. And suddenly it came to my mind, don't personalize this. Don't personalize this. Just it's a phenomena. It's just a happening. Just continue. And then I used an English word, which is not a proper English word. This is my own word to convey the idea. Don't egolize it. Don't egolize this problem. In other words, don't solidify this. It's just a. So when I went forward, I knew gems are waiting for you. So normally, where we failed is through our ego. We feel somebody did something to us, or something happened to me. But when you get to know there's no me here and there's no other person there, that's the biggest weapon, because that is illusion. That is ignorance. If ignorance is the greatest poison, and wisdom is the greatest medicine. You understand? Now these things I am experienced, I fully experienced this. And then 2016, I still went to the same place, but nothing happened. It was a good experience. And they were trying to arrange. Now I told my organizers to accept all the invitations, right? So that was first was in London, England, and then only Canada. They were asking me several years, but I didn't. I was sort of going behind that Arhatship or something. Then anyway, 2000, then it didn't work that year. I was still in Himalayas, came back. But 2017, this year, very interesting. It was like started from Australia, then it went to YouTube, then it came here. The people from America and like this, they started to invite. So now that's how I came. Okay, but I must tell you something also. 3 years ago, that was 2014, I was in Rishikesh. You have no idea Rishikesh, no? You're not gone out of America yet, probably, I guess. At your age, I remember at the age of 18, first time I went out of my family for 1 week or 2 weeks. I mean, I have also I used to play cricket a lot for clubs, And then in that, I was the youngest player at the age of 18. So there, the very people my parents told to look after, they took me to all these discos and things like this. I remember after dinner, they took me to this Why Not disco. And when I went there, I couldn't join there because it's a terrible place. So I was staying near the bar or somewhere. And so this, one of the players, so I was alone. They were all there in a very bad disco, inside there. And even in school, in high school, I don't know, there was to be a disco every Friday. So I was really keen to go myself, tell you honestly. But I was so shy to ask the money from my father, knowing what was going on there. I was so shy to ask my father, because I know that the friends come and talk, what they did this and that, and I can't tell, right, what it is. In those countries, terrible. I was so lucky that shyness protected me. Otherwise, if I did those things, I would have opened up a drug addiction in me. I will explain these things, okay? How this certain unnecessary, this thing, it makes you addicted and karma is created. So what happened? Luckily, I didn't go for this, because when you go to the parties, you're lost. Even the very good, very great potential, people who have great potential, they're taken in. Suddenly a friend comes and tells, just once we experienced, and you're in that sort of area influenced by this thing, and you might just do something which can never be reversed back. Okay? This is, so luckily our culture also great, I don't know, yesterday in Texas I saw one young girl, I asked, did you all go for the parties? She also, they don't go. Very good. I told what I did also. I wanted to go actually, but I didn't go because the shyness to ask my father the money. And so in those countries, my God, here same, because it's all mixed. It was a mixed school from all over the world, the international school there in Lesotho. And so they were like, and if you didn't do some things, they think you're a nerd, Like, I can't tell what thing it is. And if you're not, stayed with a lady or girl or the thing, 14, 15, I never forget. And I saw these boys, they look like, like this, my classmates. And they saw me, very powerful, strong. So I now know, even the teacher wrote in this Shanakar has a powerful personality, irreproachable integrity. How he coined that both, because that sila was naturally practiced. I mean, I didn't know about it, but luckily I didn't go to these places, and so I did sports only. That's the only thing. But other things, but I did some terrible things also. But that was all secret with myself. No one can, no witness. Yeah, I tell you, these are recorded, right? It's no problem. No problem. I'd like to confess, because it was another person completely that time. So my head was driving, sometimes I don't know, my parents might hear this, right? But I like to tell to the audience so they can get a contrast. So otherwise they might think like, I am a goody and they are like, some bad guys, There's a time my mind was so like, and it was also following me. I got to know later what it was. Later I got to know what it was. I'll be explaining what it is. Certain energies that enter your system. So what happened? Anyway, what I was telling now. This protected me of keeping away from Sorry? Age of 18?
No, at school when we got praise from we had natural sila. We had the natural sila as a practice.
Oh yeah, that's right. Okay, yeah, that's right. That was something, and I saw the difference with the students, my classmates, and they look all like, they were like, maybe all of us would have been 16, 17, like this, and they look like 25, 30, no shine in them. I mean, they're drunk something. And so almost everybody was like that. And I think I was, there were like one or two. Another one African boy I know, he was also a little bit quiet. And but others all were partying. And that's why going for these parties is finished. Enough, that's enough. You go there. And because these people, that's where all these young, the Americans also, where they suddenly get into drugs and all that. Because you're controlled by another entire environment. And if you have a weak destiny, suddenly it will catch you. So, this this thing, and then when I was 18, well, luckily this change happened. Complete. Then came to Sri Lanka. So in these countries, this is something, so I was very happy. Some of them said they also don't go. They only do the studies here, but they don't go to all these places. So now I will explain something, but this boy is not there. I want to tell him also. Will he come? I know, but I had to, maybe it might be helpful for him. Let's relax a bit and wait. I will tell, I had normally my stock explanation of certain things. Any question you would like to ask until he comes? Even what I was saying. Today is a small group, so today is my last. I had to celebrate, but now the 4 programs, I don't know how I make it. I think my friend, the organizing, I think gentlemen would have informed that in Canada also they would have known. They will know that I am now not coming in that ready to take me anytime. Because sometimes I have to protect myself, because hardly people know what I am doing. They get some feelings in their bodies and this and that. That's all. They hardly know, because they are not in this subject. And to do that, they must know how much I must be, what kind of body I must be, what kind of thing I must be doing. With the snare nerves, how much the nerves must be, like iron nerves. So this is something what sometimes is little unnatural. What I do is like it brings out something which is very inside, so that it activates your inner consciousness. So I also feel maybe you all you'd have been doing meditation in the past. So I was waiting for you, okay, to give this explanation. at least one if I meet before I leave. These are mainly because I wish this kind of teachings was given to me when I was your age. This was purely because of shyness I saved myself. I had no knowledge. And no one will teach you there that time or even today, nobody. You have to learn only from your friends and so on. And they will all give you. So I normally have this explanation. I will start like this. Yesterday I explained, but I don't know. If you hear it 2 times, it will go into the mind more clearly. So it's a simple practices. Now you know that is very well known in the modern times that mindfulness has a stress-busting effect. Even just the feeling of the leg to the ground and the hand touching this and the back touching to this thing. If you feel it for some time, how you are touching, that if you had stress and worry or some kind of anxiety, that it has a dissolving effect. This is very well found now in the modern, psychology and these people. In America also, there was an article in, Science America or that one magazine. So that is very well known. They have studied with MRI scan how it makes you relax, calm, just paying attention to that. Now my friends, this is only one practice. This is called Kayagata Sati or Iriyapate in the text, this type of awareness. There are another 3 more. If you do that, you have to do those 3 to get real stress relief. Because normally now with this experience you get some stress relief, but a person who is really hungry, even a piece of bread is like a biryani, right? Because for the person who has no peace at all, he get little piece, it looks like big piece. So same way, someone who is stressed out like in this kind of society, a little bit of like this, it's like nirvana. Okay? But there are ways of plunging into that deep pool of peace. Normally our brain, we have the stress area is the superficial part of our consciousness. When we go deep, when you look into inside the brain, inside the consciousness, there is a cool pond, a cool lake inside. When you focus, you get the coolness. So it's when you pay attention to the moment, just wait like that, you are just turning your attention to the cool pond. Simply that. Just because the winds are touching the cool pond and coming, that's the peace you are getting. You have not even touched the cool pond yet. So this very simple practice can be very effective. So I remember in London, in England, I was going from program to program, and in this program the people who dropped me, they have been told not to talk with me because I am meditating and going. So first I think they asked the organizers in Sri Lanka, what to do with Bhante, and they were so anxious, they're great. The people who are organizers were like really very special people, I think I am meeting them long lost friends, Dhamma friends I would say. So anyway, they were asking, so they have said, no, Bhante normally wants to be quiet, correct? But none of those people who organize also know. They only know that maybe quietness is something he appreciates. It's true. So some of them, when they are going, they are sort of anxious to ask something, They want to know this and that. So they asked me, Bhante, can I talk a few words with you? So I used to say, all right, because... And when they asked, then I used to... They asked many questions. One of the main questions they ask, I notice, is how to work, how to do the work without feeling tired, without feeling stressed out, how to meditate while doing work. Now my friends, I thought all the time explaining won't do. Let me demonstrate this. Do you anticipate also? You know the whole thing, right? In memory? Okay. So when so I thought I'm going to teach him immediately. So I told him, my friend, let's try to practice now. Okay? Now you're driving. Let's try to meditate while driving. So I told him, just feel the steering wheel you're touching properly. Just feel it. your hands. And then his seat was reclining, so I told him, think of those armchairs in Sri Lanka. So you think it's an armchair, and then recline in this armchair. Feel the touch of the seat into the back. Just feel these two things. And when I said like that, and relax, and just watch, and just feel the touch, and feel the relaxing, and not to be stiff like this. And I found that he was quiet. So I didn't talk to him. I knew he got this experience of the equanimous mind, that tranquil area. So that is actually, if you touch it, experience, you feel that peace. You feel tired of talking or meeting anyone even. You can imagine how much tired it might be. Even thought becomes heavy later. If you experience this, even the thinking, who had not thought much, the thinking becomes heavy. It becomes heaviness also. Sometimes I experience this so much, and just imagine how much. Not only now thinking, I had to even verbalize this. Okay, for a few hours. Anyway, then I knew he was quiet, means he was experiencing that equanimous state. And then I allowed him to enjoy it. So end of the journey, he talked. He said, Bhante, I never experienced this kind of peace before. And I wish you were seated next to me all the time. These are simple practices, my friends. So when you are practicing like that, so this is one practice. This is called Iryapate. And there is a second practice. Now this is where it's very important. This is not known normally now in the modern this thing. That is called Indriya Sangvara, sense control. Now I must tell you this. Now this went viral actually in America, not in England. It went to the other organizers who are picking me up. So they have not even met me, but maybe through YouTube they got to know. So they were coming 4 hours driving to pick me up and take to a program, and so they have allocated each person. So like one journey, it was one person who was picking me up like that. So this one gentleman came and he said, Bhante, I drove 4 hours and I was practicing the one you were telling to touch the steering wheel and just to feel that. And then he said that I didn't feel the time, Bhante. Correct. If you really practice this, you will be a master of time. You don't feel bored. Time is passing fast. You are enjoying a certain, so sometimes difficult. I now wondered why I also don't feel time sometimes. So it's like half an hour I have stayed, 1 hour is like 5 minutes. And then to see, my God, I'm late. I had to go quickly for this program or that. So it's true. It's the time you feel so, if you're getting that peacefulness, you're at another level of consciousness. So they were experiencing this. So this is one practice, okay? The other practice, and this is very important. This is where we reduce our monkey mind. This is called Indriya Sangvara Sila. Now this one is like, I will tell you. I am looking at you, right? Like this now, right? Now do I look focus? Now focus. Now? You look? Now? Now? Now focus. Now how do I look? Now all this time how do I look? Focus or not focus? Do you think I'm looking at anybody particularly? But no, I would like a new person to notice it. And you all knew yesterday, right? What about you, my friend? Now do I look focus? Now yes, right? I'm looking at you. Now do I look like I'm looking at you? Now yes, right? Okay? When I'm like this, I'm not focused. I don't see your details, right? So this is a practice you have to train. So it is like you cross a road, for example, I'll tell you how. When you cross a road, you see vehicles coming and going. But you don't see who is inside the vehicle. Understand? You don't look at the details of, and if you're passing somebody in the pedestrian or whatever, you notice the people, but you don't, notice means you see a person coming, but you don't notice who they are. So this reduces your registering to your senses. So this is a sila. Normally we try to look at something which is interesting, like which creates desire. So you can think even the slightest desire is going to disturb. That's where the monkey mind is created. This registers. So now you think you just come and sit down, that is meditation. No. Now these practices are called Charya Dharma. Charya Dharma means it's a spiritual lifestyle. Because we lack spiritual lifestyle, because we are not having levels of tranquility and purity, that's why we are not seeing the Dhamma properly. Now for example, those days when the hair was cut, people became enlightened. Today it's not happening. Why? Because we are not having a spiritual lifestyle. We are hearing so many bana from so many monks, we are studying the books, maybe, but I don't think you'll get it. You'll only get an intellectual some kind of thing, but it's not going to be practical. It's not going to affect your life in other occasions. Because you have not realized it. To realize this, you need that spiritual lifestyle. How you walk without feeling tired. How you eat without feeling tired. How you talk without feeling tired. How you drive without feeling tired. That means you have meditated. So when you are driving and all, so this is that now. Otherwise you have seen unnecessary things. You have seen everywhere everything, so it registers in the brain. This is like the food you give into your mind. So you learn to screen what you are giving. So you have to look at the world, otherwise you can't perform your duties. But you look what is necessary to perform your duties. And it's not necessary for you to, even if some admiring of something, you're getting distracted. Even it may be a flower or something. But if you want to develop this mental meditation, I mean the samadhi of mental tranquility, I'm talking about this. Because you will have to give up lesser pleasures to experience higher pleasure. You can't have heroin and also nirvana, both together. You either have to give up that to get this. I don't know why I told heroin today. Anyway, I will tell you what things look heroin, okay? So now I'm going to, I think I told you that. Now in this sense restraint thing, there are many problems happening in this modern day. We are now getting experiences which bring us into addictions. Okay, now I'm coming to interesting topic, but I told yesterday to who have come. So in your life normally you notice suddenly you go out of track. Okay? Suddenly you're coming for these programs like this and all that. And then you're doing the spiritual things and feel okay. But suddenly you do things which you don't want anyone to know you're doing. It may be in the toilet that you go and you hide yourself and do. When you have such a things happening, like you hide yourself, or you maybe it's going to the bar, you may be going to some nightclub suddenly, or today no need bar and nightclub, you can go into the computer, internet. Because normally it is known that it's a dopamine rush in the brain, that this particular drive is there, this addiction is there. So you are driven to novelty, suddenly this. So there is now so many ways that normally we had those days alcohol and all these things. But today we have other things. Even sexual perversions, I'm coming to this, okay? And with this becomes a drug and addictive. So, and then it's also used with internet. This is there. So when these things are happening hidden, which you don't want anyone to know you're doing, that means those time you are activating your emotions to a negative level. That means negative emotions are activated. And the frequency at that time is low frequency, mental frequency. Now when you activate like that, you will be getting connected to low frequency dimensions. Same equal to your state of mind. So those dimensions, there are beings in those dimensions, they enter your body. Be patient, I will explain to you, because this will be quite new to you all, right? So when they enter your body, they give this driving force for you to do this again and again. And they make these sort of coincidences of certain friends who come and call you, or suddenly you're lucky, you think you manage to get certain connection with the internet. So when this is happening, if you know in your life this is happening, you must know this is like putting to mud and then washing, putting to mud and then washing. When you have such a thing, my friends, you know this is like a vampire. It is going to suck all your goodness if you allow this to go on. So even now, when you do like that, normally we justify to do this. We either tell, we don't know about the invisible forces, one thing. Now after I tell, you might get to notice that. But the other one, we normally have wrong view to justify the sin we are doing. Either we will tell this is like to release tension, stress, or it's biological need. Or you might call it, well, to reduce my cholesterol sometimes. Some people are drinking wine, telling that some doctor has said, you don't need to take that tablet, this cholesterol can be reduced. So like that you justify, you bring an idea into your mind, otherwise you can't enjoy that because you love yourself. Now people like us come and spoil your sport, right? It upsets what you are doing. But I'm sure this is all doing, maybe you must see, before it's too late. So when you know like that, you will keep away with something which was tempting or something which was distracting you, say next day. Tomorrow if somebody comes, you know to avoid that person, or it may be a button that you press in the internet, you're not going to use it. Like that, when you keep away, you find so much energy that you lose by doing those things are reserved. So second day, third day when you do, you're not giving food for those negative forces that you've created. So those beings have to leave your system. And those holes in your character get patched up. So when this happens, to a certain 4 days, 5 days, 1 week, there's going to be a recovery. Your damaged areas of the brain is going to slowly repair. So when it repairs like that for some time, you find that without meditation, you will be getting certain, you could say, a certain state of peace. Because, like your health, your mental health is improving. And when that happens, like negative emotions create adrenaline and the negative hormones, this other way of relaxing and sort of feeling good about you also creates a certain type of hormone. Now, this is not in the medical science actually. Sometimes endorphin is also positive. I heard that now there is another term in the Ayurveda. It is called Ojas. Now, Ojas is something, Ojas, Tejas. Ojas is something which is very fine in the nerves. They happen to go through this nerve system and actually go to your brain and opens up areas of the brain which was not functioning before. And they get deposited in that area. And when they get deposited, it makes you have those thoughts again, the positive one. And when it happens, the thoughts make this happen, then this makes you have these thoughts. It creates this positive cycle. And this positive cycle slowly replaces this poisonous cycle you have created. And when it happens very much, you'll find something will change in your body also. You look more handsome or more pretty. And I tell normally you have a shine will come in your cheeks and forehead. So when you get like that, you must protect this particular beauty. So I tell normally you don't need to apply, here you have Nivea I think, but there's Fair and Lovely also, right? These things, you don't have to apply all these cosmetics. You'll have this charming, magnetic beauty. Okay, the other way what happens, even if you have a shower, you can't clean that. Your character gets slowly destroyed, your personality. It becomes a weak personality. You look, no one will feel frightened of you. To make them frightened, you have to show your tantrums and show your visiting cards and tell a big history about you. Okay? Create mental pictures in this paper. But when you are, that way you have such a power developing in you, a powerful personality and a magnetic personality, these things will start to happen. The other way, you look like a clown. Understand? You may have a bath in the bathroom, but that's not the bath you must have. You must have a bath like coming like this for Sila. This is one way of having a bath. Okay, this is the type of bath. So this is something I want to explain, one side. Okay. The other one is regarding, now all of you have heard it yesterday, right? This is for just about the computer, then we go to a new topic. I am also bored too. But for the young ones, I must explain this somehow. The other one is regarding, like I had for experience with like a rishi, I don't know, you don't know, must be. These are like certain saints who have certain mental power. So they are like in the Himalayas mostly, and one of them, I remember, he was helping a lot of people, and people who had a lot of problems, they used to come to him. He had the ability to bring the unseen certain beings into your body, like microscope. You can see sometimes, like elephants, you can see these small microorganisms. Just imagine, it looks like an elephant. It's here in your finger. Same way, there are other beings which we don't know, we don't see from this type of level of, light and frequency. So, but there are beings who they do see. But I have told you a way to know whether these beings are there in you. If you're suddenly driven to nightclub or something, you're doing secret, you have these forces in your system, for sure. Okay? So, then what happened? This Rishi, one mother brought a child who was partying and he didn't want to go to school. I mean, sometimes he was all the time in the computers like this, he had a lot of complaints. And not studying. So this suddenly, whenever I saw this happening, suddenly this boy became unconscious. Someone else was talking while he was in front of this Rishi, master. And this boy went like this, And then the master asked, who are you? Then he said something like snake spirit. Then how did you come? When did you come to this body? Then he said, when he was 13 years old. How did you come? When he was playing games, computer games. I was wondering what is computer games related to this. And then I got to know actually, when you have good positive thoughts, you create positive consciousness, right? When you have negative thought like kill or fight. But not only that, I got to know that there are like innocent looking games, but it driven competitive, like a game is a game, right? It gives you bonus and reward and things like that. That sudden excitement releases dopamine. Understand? So this addiction that is formed is equal to the dopamine release of a heroin. The MRI scan shows. This in Oxford University, the research they have done, it's very clear. The heroin addict's brain, the same way it's functioning who are playing games, who are addicted to it. So now that is from the scientific point of view, medical science is beautiful and really it helps a lot. Otherwise, if I tell about only the bhutas, pretas, how no one in the modern day, will, now it's also clear for me. Very, very, because I also have a scientific mind. It's very interesting. So you can know that looks so innocent. Oh boy. And so then because I had to talk topics, just to give you some knowledge. So it is like I'm going away from my nice tranquil state to a very gross area but this is like a dharma dana. I hope it will give you some strength. So anyway, now this is one place they say they entered through Facebook. So you see, I don't know. So what I can say is I have no idea what Facebook is actually. But one thing I can tell you, the computer is neutral on its own. But if you have these weaknesses in you, it is a big area of germs to connect to anything. So you can't tell today people not to use computers. That is beyond now, because just for existence you will have to use it. But you have to become knowledgeable. What these things are, there's a drug there. So I call now the computer druggies now. Given a name. This will be a new one, computer druggies. Computer junkie, right? Okay. This should go viral, really. This will protect so many people. But there are people, when I told about this ghost story, how these beings are there, in Melbourne, there was a young boy in the back of that group. He just listened, he heard slightly that Bhante said, some ghost thing, that they come when you're... So when he was in Melbourne city, he was suddenly tempted when you're passing a city to go somewhere. Now he's the one, he has talked to me privately, he said he wants to be a monk also. But he's also tempted with all these problems. So suddenly in the city he was feeling to go to some place. I don't want to tell, but I'm sure it's something really bad. And suddenly remembered, Bhante said there are invisible spirits that are... And then he stopped. And he came program after program. So this is nobody's touching. I was so happy. I don't know so how many this would have happened. Because now you don't need to tell people not to drink alcohol. There's some other types of alcohol now. Another gentleman I know, this was in England, because I hardly meet people, I normally bless and go. So few people who I meet, they tell me what happened to them. One gentleman, he was looking at something from the cell phone. So he's having children and no one tells that this is wrong. That's the problem. No idea, innocently, they're just caught up with this. And they are destroying completely their personality, everything. And then suddenly, after the blessings and everything, he said, Bante, from the last program to now, I didn't feel like touching this. I was so happy. I was so happy. Otherwise, all this effort I'm doing, there's something have to happen, otherwise you will have big problem with the nature, I told, don't come and meet me, because if you don't change, you'll have big problems. Better don't come, better be out, never come inside. But because these things I'm telling, like I have suffered a lot also to come to this, and they will have to you will have to do something. So this is these are things I want to explain. Another place they say, when you are trying to press the button, so the computer can be used for good things also. There are good things. When you feel saddha, some knowledge about meditation, I think that's okay. But then these other things you have to be very careful. Only for your work purpose is okay. But there are other things. The Mara makes use of it more. The demon uses it more than the other people, good people. He's I think. So what happens? Another place they say, when that person is about to press that button, he's in our control. That some page. When that page is open, he's already in our control. So I'm giving you tips, my friends, in case you already, so you don't have to open something. When you give a small this thing, because what happens now, I also know the brain function. When you give a small peek, you say peek or even think, that spirit enters your body. Then the thinking, you then get the idea, I will just touch a bit and this thing. And then what happens? When you give one bit, it catches you fully. And then you think, tomorrow I will try. Today let me enjoy this sip of whiskey or brandy, So these are very important for you all to know. Don't ever taste it once even. You understand? Even if you have now, in case, don't touch this hereafter. It's going to, simply, heroin addicts also say the same thing, no? Now this is for the heroin addicts. They said if they never experience the first one, because the nerves are formed immediately in the brain. And what I see, the spirits enter the body. So you want to try one more time, then you go into deeper. You don't get exhausted with that. More you do it, it's going to catch you. So this is in the computers. With the games also. One gentleman told, he felt suddenly, he's not here today, your friend, right? He felt suddenly something, because they are grown up. When they are doing it after being a grown up, there's some protection. But at a young age, my God, especially at the age of, I think, 14, 15, because the hormones are working in the body, and then they hijack your brain. So same way, the drugs, the dopamine, if it's released, they hijack your thinking. You are not going to control after that. So anyway, I have touched those points, right? How many of you use computers? Oh my goodness, දෙගොල්ලන්ට පාවිච්චි කරනවද ළමයි? කරන්න නැතුව බෑන් නේද? පන්ති වල? How many of you play games? Oh, like this now, right? So I know in France, they now tell to their mother, ghosts are coming from the games, and they are not doing it. And no problem. Did they listen? Little bit.
I'm so happy that Bhagavan talked about it yesterday. I remind her yesterday.
And I told how to make them listen. How? I gave some points yesterday.
Yes.
How? Like how to change, if you want to change your child or husband or wife, or how to do it.
First we have to change.
Yeah, that's right.
We were practicing that actually.
Practicing what?
I'm not saying anything
Yeah, that's okay. That's good. Yeah. But if you want to tell them, you must also practice something what you are breaking. It may be not computer games. It may be something else. Maybe you're attached to some kind of food. Maybe certain kind of chutney you like to eat. So you give up that chutney and you purify yourself in your path. Then you will have the commanding force, or you will be able to help the other person. They will listen to you. I told you like last time about Vivekananda, how about sugar thing, no? That so this is a very important principle. Now I see also myself, I don't see this is too late. I have been now not coming for many years and now coming like that. But I know some impact will happen. Because what I have been doing, there's some mystical force, I told you, that it goes and it will work for the people. Some people say they don't listen, no one listens, but some say they have to listen. Why? That the purity of the person who is saying. So if he is purifying, he will have some power over the people. That means if you have any relationship also. So even the attachment to children is like a drug later. So there were teachers, they were my great-grandma. So if you're really parent, if I was a parent, I had this experience with my brother, where he was again with games and all these things, and some other thing also. I can't tell like this, I feel bad about it. But parents or nobody knew about it, that's the problem. So, and I'm the one who saw what he was doing. I was doing walking meditation behind the balcony, and then in his room and then I told my father, but then I knew I can't advise him until I feel that tension. This is my brother, that attachment. So I went to the shrine room, locked myself, and just contemplated how he was born from a karma to this family, and that how I saw him and got the idea, this is my brother. But really, it's a consciousness, it's the idea. For my parents, it's son. So how can it be two different things, a son and a brother? That this is in the consciousness. And there is no reality in it. So until I felt detached, I waited in the shrine room. I did this. And then when I felt detached, and then I knew it's not my family, this is a mental idea, then I thought what the duty I should do. Then I went with my father, and we went to the room. He knew he was caught, so he was lying down like this, and just told him the pros and cons. This is, and nicely, not in a, like why you do this and all that. So my father was very surprised because he couldn't handle the situation. That attachment was making him paralyzed, So then I told that long years ago, when I was not a monk, I was there at home that time. So then I told him like this, and then after next day I went to the forest. Where my teacher was. So leave it actually. Don't peek and see whether they are practicing and all that. So this is not the way. This is you're still, they have no power will generate from you. But you're then attaining Nibbana also with that, and you're helping your family also. Any question? I'm covered almost most of the things, and I'm coming to some little bit interesting part of මහත්ය වෙලාව කොච්චර කියද? කොච්චර කියද? මොකද්ද මහත්ය ඇව්වේ? ඒක කියන්න දෙන්න. right. Okay. හැබැයි මං හිතන එච්චර පොඩි අය නෑ. මෙයා නම් පොඩි දෙන්නෙක් විතර ඉන්නවා. ඊයේ කිව්වා නේද ඒක? කිව්වද? ඊයේ කිව්වේ නෑනේ. ඔව්. ඒක I normally tell like a first teaching for if there are young people. Another secret in this life is to really be successful. You must try to make your parents happy. Their blessings can make you a great person in the future. Now even last year I had a small problem actually. Small means like my devotees, sometimes they try to catch me by catching my parents. This is what they do. So they did something like that last year. I was in the Himalayas. They have already arranged on their own vasa in India with my parents. They are sweet, nice way of thinking, of course. But long years I have left my parents. I am going for the sake of everybody in a certain way. I am not going to I am ready to even give up that completely. I come all this way, and it's only another few more years maybe, and that I will do towards that. So anyway, so they arrange. They are very old now, so my brother is looking after. But still, they arrange for them to. So suddenly, then I had to stay. I stayed 3 months, Vasa, but it was terrible because I can't stay with anyone. I am now a lone person. I can't stay with groups, and I have trained in such a way that I want to be alone. So anyway, I had to keep myself alone. I still did some. I looked after. They also came to look after them. They were waiting, but then I looked after. But no one should stay. If they stay too, because these 2 paths. If you stay too long with me, you will go berserk. Because these are 2 different trains. So anyway, I was very careful. I made sure that I don't get too connected. I kept away, but it was. So then I could say my meditation was really ruined in a way. But certain blessings I got from them. I know I can even do anything in this universe. The father, mother, in even that stage, I don't need to get there now, but I found the sincere, my mother, certain times I saw her, what she was, I remember that, I know I can do anything what I want. These are not small, even this stage I see so much value. Now I must tell you, in 2004, I came out of a jungle, this all walking those days, where commandos are put actually for final training. This is in the Knuckles range, and there you can't find your way out. This is so unspoilt, virgin jungle, from one of the old jungle, I think, older than Yala. So there I was inside there, and I made my way. I had no compass, nothing. If you go into the jungle, without a compass, it's very tough. Every place looks same. So I made it. People thought I had some supernatural powers, because to come out of it, I had some supernatural power, I would say. I was extremely wounded, like all leeches and all that, I kept some energy to be focused and to find my way to properly judging the waterfalls and things like that. How did one time I fell down actually, and I knocked my head and I got up. If something broke, I knew no one will find my body. That time the thought came, my parents might think, where is Gnanaloka, He's no news from him. But no one will know what happened to me. So that was like, no one can go there. There's no pathway, nothing. So I got up, and then I was still going with will. And something I chanted to myself, like a mantra, to keep my presence of mind. Do you know what it was? I chanted, my Father bless me, my Father bless me, my Father bless me. This simple thing. I just kept on saying, my Father bless me, my Father bless me. And that made me to have this mental strength to just to, no food much. So many things happen. I'm not going to go into that. So the parents' blessings is super, it's something really you must be careful at, especially your age. Now, I was going to really mess up my time. This time I was really, that time only I had this contact also with the rishis. They told me, first gods in this world is your parents. You have to get their blessings also to get the blessings of the higher worlds. Like that day, but still I was adamant, I didn't believe in these people also in the beginning stages. But later, by my own meditation, it became clear also how, like karmically we come to the families, that they are connected and we have to harmonize with that. And especially with parents, you have to. So if you are married also, that is also another relationship. You don't just run away from it. You have to, who have done like that, they have a stable purity. You can't suddenly disturb the surroundings, and you can't have crash programs. You have already crashed. There is no crash program for you. So you just to allow your animal nature or the impulsive nature, this is going to cause problem for you in the future. So anyway, they say when you get blessings from if you disturb your mother, mother, it's like cutting the roots of a plant. That means it's going to die immediately, If you disturb your father, it's like putting hot water to the roots. what kind of leaf you will get? You get yellow leaves, right? Slowly dies. So these are true things. The wise, those days, ancient time, these people say. So, yeah. So then, this is very important. Okay, I've given you small tips. There's a Muslim boy also who comes to me who wants to be a monk. Anyone likes to be a monk? Oh my, I know you. Yeah, it's there, but they have passed through the danger zone. You also want to? Okay. Yes, your husband. Is there? Okay. It's very good. Even the thought to become a monk or a nun, it's a great thing. And I am telling you, normally my way is to tell you how to become a monk mentally, not the robing part. This is not my idea. The robe will come naturally. You'll be forced to get the robe when the right time comes. So, there was a Muslim boy who used to come to me. He wanted to be a monk. And I will touch your point, don't worry, right? I'm coming roundabout to do that. I just want to cover you a lot of information about general life. This Muslim boy, he wanted to be a monk. So everywhere in Sri Lanka, the monastery, they want to ordain him. What a great thing, a Muslim boy. So someone has told to come to see that Bante, and he came to me. When he came to me, when I saw him and when he explained, I knew what he should do next. I told him next he must get married. He was surprised, of course, and I explained to him. When I saw him, I knew he has some karma. That according to certain his body, there is certain karma, bad karma he has to experience. So I know that even if he becomes a monk, he's going to have problem. So better he have problem as a marriage, then he will get more disgusted with marriage. So that was not the main reason, but that is also part of it. Main reason was I saw that his parents will never agree. They will curse him. They are very old, 80 years old father, but they are very open-minded in Colombo. They are like brought up in the city. So he was like, so I knew that he's going to really get a curse, and this kind of environment he has created because he's not having the punya yet, good karma yet. So I just told him, make your parents happy first. So when if you tell you don't mind getting married and they bring a proposal, you go there, they'll be happy. Meanwhile, you can keep meditating. You do it alone, secretly. And you are at harmony with the environment where you are in. And then you go don't be frightened, just be brave, go there. And if you have real destiny, maybe this will not work. So I just told him like that. So he said March or something, some years ago, right? March, the month of March, they arranged engagement. So I used to go to Himalayas, India, and I returned back, I think, May. Then he came to meet me and I asked, what happened? And he said, Bante, as you said, you're right. They arranged and I came, we went, and there's something happened from the bride's side, and so it didn't work. So it's going on, no problem. I am meditating and my parents are okay. So this is it. So you're already doing the practice of a nun or a monk. If you disturb all that, you're just waiting with so much, strain. Just only the robes are there, and you might even go mad while you're there. So these are very important, I think. So I explain like this. So now there's this situation. Sometimes, like your parents will tell you, maybe, open the door, someone is ringing the bell, right? If they ring the bell and says, go and open the door, son, but if this is Uncle Nihal or Auntie Sarojini or somebody, right? I don't know, my names are, tell I'm not at home, because they don't want to meet them, okay? So now you have to help them out, right? So you go and knock, you open the door and you find this is Uncle Sam or whoever, right? So what you do that time? What about you? What do you do? But if you have faced that situation in the past, and if you do face, how will you?
I don't know, to be honest. I guess I'd meet them and then I'd ask what they would want.
What they brought for you?
No, what they would want from you.
Want from you?
Yeah.
like no, your parents will tell them to go and tell them that if that uncle, that we are not at home. So
yes, I guess I'd see what if they wanted to talk to my mother. If they didn't, if they did, then I would just say I could pass on a message or something.
okay, but they say, are they at home or something like that? What will you say then?
That's like a moral question.
So yeah, how would you answer? How you have answered already if such situation came, and how will you answer in case such situation comes? Now you have to help your parents out, right?
Right, and then I'd resort to lying.
Yeah, then for your parents' sake, you can't let them down, right? But tell what you really feel. Don't worry, no need right answer. I really want what you really feel, what you really do.
Well, what I personally do is I would just try to, I guess I would just bend the truth. Try not to completely tell a lie, but kind of say they're not, I don't know, they're not in this room at the moment.
They're in another room, right? Okay. Okay. But yeah, I know really you don't want to lie, right? Very good, very good. I can feel that. That's good enough. But I tell you how to answer that. If your parents ask you such a thing, say, no, Ami, I can't do that. Just tell straight, I can't lie. Just, you have already the answer, no. So other things you agree, whatever they say, you must, that is the best way. But even if you have to go through torture, no problem, that may be your karma. But they are in such a situation, you say no. And you don't say it to anger, you have already firmly thought about it, and you know, in this situation, this is bad karma, you are not moral question again. If something that breaks your morality, there you stick to your guns. So you have the answer now? Okay, but good, you're very good. I am happy with you. Because you're taking still also, I was never like this, my goodness. You're going to be a super person in the future. I'm happy with you. You all are good, though you're in America, no problem. It's not that you're in Sri Lanka or anywhere. What is important is how you're making your life. Maybe you do better by staying here than being. What else?
You said that you have gone from several places to several places, in the woods, in jungles, right? And can you explain to us some of the difficult scenarios that you underwent, and you felt desperate, and you got scared, and how you overcame all those situations? Because that will be a very, very good experience or educational session for these people.
I had not one, there are so many.
We would like to listen to all of them.
It will take 7 days, I think, I have just told point 7 is very long. I will try to maybe tell one or two sadly, which maybe with the elephant. Okay, one with the elephant maybe. One day there was this particular, like when this area of the jungle, we knew that there was this wild elephant, that he was not, he was charging the monks also. And they saw, he was really wounded by all these village people who had shot him in the back. So that was long years ago when I was new to the jungles also, as a young monk. So one day suddenly, I have never seen, I have only heard from the other monks, there's such an elephant. And this lone elephant, lone is normally supposed to be very rough or very uncertain. So suddenly one day after Pindapata, I was going past, then I saw the elephant, first time. But I did a mistake also, I got his attention. I should have just gone. But I was not experienced also maybe. And then he was eating the grass there, and then I just was looking there and then waiting. He suddenly saw me, and then he turned like this, and then with trumpeting sound, boom, like, I don't know what to say. And it just coming, boom, 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 like, then I'm not used to going fast also. So then the monks, they knew that it was me who went, and this elephant is charging. From far, I could hear them running and coming like, Raja, 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 shouting. And then it just came somewhere like, say, this gentleman, and then it turned like this, okay? So this monk also was beside me suddenly when he was there. So anyway, this other monk, he took me around. He knows that jungle area. He took me around to the cave I was staying. And anyway, I stayed there. The next day morning, I was coming. These are like small pathways, cleared through the jungle bush to the Pindapath area. So when I was walking through that small thing, suddenly one place I could hear like a, like a what is it, blowing sound, So see, the elephant is just near here. His trunk, now these little bushes, and then the trunk is just here. Like the blowing sound. What do you call that in English? That, not trumpeting, right? That is like a snorting or what, I don't know. Like, it's very funny, like when they breathe this long nose, so like, he's just, then I was frozen. So I was expecting, I know normally the elephant, they take you like this and, then they trample you. So I, I can't go front, nor can I go back. I'm just waiting. And I have never experienced this like that, but the stomach was something happening, something, my stomach was like something, not yeah. And then it was coming to my mind, Gnanaloka, you're going to die now. And what was it? You're not going to, from death, you're not going to attain Nibbana. It's by insight knowledge, removing the craving, only this journey will stop. But now can't help it, you'll be born again. And what was it? That you have to start from where you finish your meditation. It was all coming to my mind. And then it came to my mind that I was attached to meditation. That attachment was creating fear. And that fear was creating this stomach effect. It's like that. So this is, and then I was waiting for it to do anything. I was okay. But it didn't do anything also. It was also there. And then I passed there this way. But I knew later the elephants or animals, they react because of your fear. And they become more frightened. And most of the accidents happen because of your tremendous, you try to do something and then. So I have the practical reasons while I'm getting this with the dog, I will tell you once. When I go in Pindapata. These are good, I think, might help you all. Because you have dogs here, not elephants, right? You have to go to the zoo. And then what happened, one time, we were going on arms round with my brother monk. Now my brother monks were, I should not, this get recorded, right? Sometimes okay, doesn't matter. I love them. I always love them. I metta, I'm sure I had no difference to them. So some of them, they were like, very older than me, body. And my teacher sometimes, sort of course he had great this thing for me. So sometimes some of them, they were like, they really admired me, but they didn't want to, they had so much pride, so many confusions in the head those days. Now I heard they are very great now. Okay, those days they were training as young people. So I remember I used to take them on commando journeys those days, so to control them. So the Pindapathas were wrong, 3 hours of Pindapatha. And from the boat, when we were this thing, those good old days I would call them. So then I remember to keep the meditation object all the way. These are practices. So this, I don't know, it was in my blood, like I knew how to do, and my teacher told me to help these people, how to train. It's not, because Pindapatha, all these have a training effect. We don't do these things. We just allow it. And so what happened? One day, we were going through one area and suddenly this dog came running. And the person who was the owner, he couldn't control. And this was like a fierce one, I think. So the owner was also like speechless, I knew it was in shock. He was calling the name and he was just waiting like that. And I just saw from the slide and I was meditating. Now with the sound, you can't get the samadhi. But you can immediately go to Vedana, Sanya, Sankara, Netam, Mama, Nesoham, Asmi. These are feelings, perceptions. They are not mine. This sound, this feeling, perception. It's consciousness, right? You're conscious from the ears, or the ears and the eyes. So they are just feelings, perceptions. They are not a person there. So when I was thinking like that, I was able to, and then I remember he comes and jumps. He just jumps into the, like wow, like he jumps, and I was just watching that and just still, and I could see that when he jumps, as it touches near the leg, it just closes his mouth. Because I knew that, it's like this, I think it's the calmness that pervades the brain because calmness is more powerful than that aggression. You understand? You'll find if you can keep your calmness. Now this is not with animals, also with people also. I will tell you one more of one person. These are small things, but I hope this is practical and will help you all. Once our car was parked, those days I'm practicing, right? Car was parked in front of a gate. So one lady, she came suddenly, it was in Vellavatta, and those days I never got the driving license. Because at the age of 18, I told you, I had this change and I didn't want to do anything. So I was in the front seat, my father has gone out for something, and then suddenly this lady came, whoa. I see it like that, scolding. Take your car away, something, very fast, scolding us. And then I looked at her and I said, Auntie, sorry auntie, when my father comes, we will remove the car from here. And then she just shouted like this, and then she went. Okay, I only told this. Then she came back suddenly and said, son, you didn't shout back. Normally people, when I say do like this, they shout at me back. So where are you from? You can keep your car, it's okay. Like that it happened. It's this you have to practically experience. This will be very nice when you're working places. Now these people are highly emotionally unstable, right? You should feel so much love, compassion for them. This LTT I had 2 times or so, but not much. I got royal treatment. I prepared even to face death. One day I'll tell you what happened. One occasion, 1 or 2, a motorbike came racing. Okay, and this was in their control area, right? I'm now walking, going Sakman, and they're coming straight at me. So from far they can go all this way, but they're coming straight and they're from far away accelerating like this, So I'm also going tick, 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 tick like this, and they come like this, and so near they just suddenly turn. So I think he was frightened to die, but I was not. This was fun. I would say, I don't know why he was aggressive like that. And Kailash, I told you about. With the bears, of course, I told, no? No? Boring stories for me, long time ago. Actually, I was staying in one jungle where it was all full of bears. Bambalapitiye in the Yala area. Inside Yala, actually, it's really inside. And there are many caves and like ancient civilization, like 2000 years old, like there were like so many Arahants would have been there. But they all know wildlife, archaeology, nothing. This is so remote inside. So all those caves are occupied by bears mostly. And I remember like night time, they try to come in. So you could hear like, they're like, I can't say Alsatian dogs, it vibrates their breathing. You can feel the size of the person is. Then, so almost every night they happen to come around 11. I could hear the noise, so I would say Kanda Pirita or Itibisogata, a little loud. So they go away. One day I have fallen asleep around 12. I was lying down. It's like a stone slab from one of the ruins. The people who helped me, they put for lying and meditating, everything. And it's in a beautiful cave. But it's open cave. So while I was lying down, like in a dream, I could hear and unconsciously, like I just like lying and then got up, and then there's a lamp, right? Kerosene lamp. I just increased the thing, and when I just seated like this, the bear was in front. Then I said, Virupakke me mittam mittam erapatehi. And I was just said like that. It just turned like this and doop. It was so heavy, it just like shook the ground. Maybe it got very frightened, It goes and pokes into everything, you see. Maybe one about the snake I will tell. It's like boasting now, you know. Should I say this? This one, maybe some inspiration, is it? I don't know. It was once, now normally in the forest after 3, 4, 5 days, 6 days, the animals, there's some rule. They get used to, they know. And so it was the beginning period, I remember, when I entered this area. So the one time I was meditating and I had no robes, it's very hot, so I kept my robes and only I have the adane. And in that slab I was meditating. Actually sometimes I do a meditation which is lying down. So if nobody's there, I sort of do like that. So when I was doing that, I felt something was here, like here. A little cold or I don't know, like some feeling. So I just continued my meditation. So I just curious a little bit and I just looked like that to see there's a snake here. So what I did was then I slowly got up and then it also knew that it was somebody, I think. Looks, and I remember our eyes meeting. This is two like marbles. And I could see some friendly feeling. That's very funny, Then it went and it looked again and it went and it looked again and it went like that. So I think this was the closest that there's sometimes you put the torch and there is a pimbura, The head is down like gold, it's in between your leg. Then you get to know what kind of place this is. So a lot of snakes and all that are there. But nothing happens. There is some rule, there's some order. What else? But I told you the main ones, 2014-15, with altitude. There are other things that happen. Also, I had some difficulties with some nuns. My parents don't like me telling this. These are with human beings. But I noticed it was the karma. I knew already. These are very interesting also to know. So you do see how these situations come, not by chance, and you make good use of it. But that is in 2011. This was a tough time I had. When I passed that only, then the good things happened. 2012, then I came to public in Sri Lanka. But all this happening there's a background of suffering and great challenges. This was the worst. Now I'm coming to you all after experiencing so it's like polishing you,
Can you also share the information about the lake that you assume as
Manasarova. The thing is, some say it's Anotatta, I don't know whether it is really. Anotatta means something like in the ancient text they say. There's nothing interesting about telling about that place. That place is like, in the YouTube they have taken this first time some clips from that area where some cave I went and meditated. So it's like a huge lake, the biggest lake in the Himalayas in high altitude, 98 kilometers the circumference. So this one, Anotapta means, actually tapta means heat, I heard. Anotapta means never get heated up or something like that. They say the sun doesn't fall, some say it doesn't heat up. But if they say sun does not fall, it can't be true, because sun does fall, the sun rays does fall on the lake. But if you say it doesn't get heated up, that's true. So I think Aryadhamma Thero, he told me like this, that now in Aryadhamma Mahathera, when I told him this place, he said the meaning of the Pali is that other monk says some other thing like that. So I don't want to, it's a personal journey. I don't know how far it will help you all. Going to Kailash, and I can only tell you the death parts, near death, so you can relate to that. They're supposed to be, it's like if I tell you some point, it's supposed to be like a huge traffic. Who have psychic power, meditation power, they explain that there is a huge traffic of different types of beings who are traveling. Like, it's like a portal or a doorway to certain dimensions. So there are people, so normally in the night, many who go, they like to go and meditate. It's very cold, and just to see some. I had something one time. There are certain things that, like physically also. But if I tell you, I'm going to get, direct you in a wrong way, I think. It's not something, unless you can get great experiences if you, today here in the night, you just spend going to your mind, and maybe you get even self-realization. That is more greater visions than visions of some. It's also a perception, right? Even if you see some devatas or something, still a perception. But if you perceive the perception, that means if you become enlightened about perception, that's the super perception. I remember that it's coming to my mind. Maybe it's very helpful. I was, when I was passing Manhattan, I was happy about myself about one thing. I am not an arahant, but I was happy with something that I was experiencing. Yesterday I told about France, Paris. That when I was passing Paris, the Eiffel Tower, the people there suddenly, the organizer told, Bante, this is Eiffel Tower, Eiffel Tower. Then I told my friend, I have not come to Paris to see Eiffel Tower. I have come to show you how not to see Eiffel Tower. It was very true. Then in Lourdes, they took me to Lourdes. I like that kind of place. So when we were there, suddenly one couple was there, Sri Lankan, I think, and they came, and then this gentleman told, he's the Bante who is doing programs, in France. He started just now, and he'll be going to America like that. Then they said, is this the monk who didn't look at Eiffel Tower? I was really surprised by that, coming so far away from Paris, 19 hours driving, this gentleman. And these people asked me this, like they were psychic or something, to find, maybe it went to the Facebook or something, and it went like that. After that, I'm very frightened to talk something like this. I think just suddenly goes somewhere. This world has become like that. So one thing I was happy about me was, going to, in Manhattan, downtown, when they were taking me for some program, of course, on the way. Because now the organizers, they know I have no interest. Of course, I am interested in people who are suffering. Another thing that made me come here, even the last day when I was coming to America, I was reluctant, not to America, I'm sorry, Australia. That was a big change in my normal life. Because I've been in the forest and all that, now I'm thinking whether I'm really upsetting all the things I have done, just taking this wrong decision to go to Australia. The last night also I was thinking, then suddenly I had an experience with my masters. They happened to tell me, you must go. Why? They told me like this, that though you think they are having all the good vehicles or good, residents, and they are dressed well, they're having so much suffering in their mind. And he explained to me like this, it's like a drought, completely full of, and there's no rain at all, and then some water is spread, then how much is appreciated. So he explained to me like that, the condition of this, so-called, we would call it affluent. But then, when I went to Australia, I got to know. Then I was so happy. And also had the complaint that I thought I go to Australia to teach the Australian people. When I found that, it is happening up till now, when I found that this is Sri Lankan community. Completely, because the organizers, the community, they are connected, they are doing like that, of course. So they got to know that they are so sweet people, They were trying to bring their neighbors, they would bring. I should tell. So whoever they knew, they used to bring to make me happy. But I was so happy also. Even still I'm happy when I find Sri Lankans, they are going through so much suffering. Pain. So I was so happy, no problem for me. But of course my mind goes now when I'm blessing sometimes. People who are in the street, I think, even in the Pindapata, that's the energy, whatever I have, I would leave it and go. And even who are in the houses and those community. I'm not a Sri Lankan, and I'm also not a Buddhist. So, I also think Buddha was never Buddhist, He was never Buddhist. We created all this particular. It's a universal thing for all humanity, for all living beings. If I went to all, when in the LTT, I never thought this LTT. If I thought, I can't go there inside. Impossible. This discrimination comes because of your narrowness and your lack of enlightenment. If you have this, you know that any body you see the universal truth about it. Whether it is Muslim, human, anywhere. So, yeah, I was very happy. Now I want to tell, in Manhattan, when I was going downtown, I suddenly felt, like it was very nice. My meditation was so strong, and I didn't feel any fascination, nothing. Actually, like a bricks, and I did feel some negative energy initially, actually. Like going to the LTT in the other way. Now, LTT is the violence way, the other way is sensual indulgence. I was sensitive to the vibrations, actually. Like a sinister, like a murky feeling. But then suddenly my meditation was coming, and, like I could, and then I was at peace, and then I felt really inspired inside, and my organizers were really wondering how I could do meditation in this environment. Really, it picked up so much. And then it came to my mind why we are fascinated by all this material affluence. Then suddenly I told him, remember when we were going in the night after one program, why we are fascinated by these sensual things? We feel Disneyland or Las Vegas or these places like big place, big thing. Because of inner poverty. Your interior is so, nothing is there, that's why. If you are rich, if you are inside rich, you will not be fascinated. That means rich with what? With wisdom. With dispassion, with certain higher experience of consciousness. If you have tasted those things, this will look like drain water compared to pure distilled water. You understand? So because you lack these things, these look fascinating. Because you're poor, that's a nice way of putting, right? I think. So there's something you have to, I always thought, so today maybe I'll demonstrate something. But you already know, right? Most of you. You might have to look, I am bored to do this because only 3-4 are new, right? Unless I create a new one. This one, of course, don't mind. But this one, I can't make you surprised now because you already know yesterday, right? No, I can't do that. It's not much because. How many? Raise your hand. But not many. Not many. You have to find it from the. I told you about inner rich, poverty. It's the reason you get fascinated by external this thing. But cutting the hair, of course, I don't mind doing it because it's like a meditation. I really like to create a new one. Because my creative mind is still not working. I'm still coming out of that Himalaya. Any question you like to ask? We're almost ending, yes?
Question about the meditation. So when you do meditation, you are doing yourself to putting loving kindness with different groups of people.
Yes.
But when you are doing it, you hope that all these groups will with loving kindness. But if it really happen, or are you doing it for you so that your hatred or influence or the negative feelings will go away? So these groups really get your...
And a group is actually like when I actually spreading like that actually you don't take too much detail. If you take Sri Lanka, you take it generally as Sri Lanka. If you take details, you can't come to Samadhi. Yes, slowly getting the idea, but later you don't get too much of a detail of who they are. You must spread spatially. That must expand, and more you think of the details, you can't get the Samadhi. Understand? Like you must get the feeling of like a motherly feeling, and then you should get like a fog idea, not a clear picture. A fog, but a sincere, they are there, no? How much you think, and then sincerely sending it out. And when you get a fog idea of Devaloka, Brahmaloka, like that, you get it immediately. You don't go details of Tavatin Satusita, and slowly you, and earth is entire humanity. That is enough. But to get an idea, these beings do exist in different countries. So you initially start, then the lower worlds of animals and the Apaya Lokas, and they get a fog idea, and then later you learn to let go that, and you leave, and you might float. You get Piti Sukha. This is a samadhi. This is a purpose. Otherwise just like, so you can do more this if you have sense control. More you are draining your senses, your mind is like, very functioning in a very, it doesn't have that ability to activate that. So I told you about the frontal cortex. Oh, I couldn't tell one thing. I will tell you how it operates. I understand. The three actions we have: mano karma, vachi karma, kaya karma. Out of this, it was Upali, I think in the Majjhima Nikaya, he was the Jain, one of the main pupils. They argued that the kaya karma is more powerful than the mano karma. In that, one example is given by the Buddha, where he says, like how the Danda forest became Danda forest. Before, long years ago, it was a very famous, very popular area. There's a big civilization with cities and maybe like Manhattan, okay, New York. So there, in the end of the forest, they were meditating yogis, rishis, who developed the mind. And these yogis, these rishis, this mental power, they were okay, but these people came and disturbed these people, the monks or who were meditating. So they were trying to forgive them for a long time, but after some time they got little upset, and with their concentrated mind they felt irritated. But that irritation is so powerful with that pure mind. The slightest thing that was making the whole area, it was like a curse. Slowly that civilization was, getting like a ghost town. And then now when Buddha's time came, it was a forest for so many yugas. So you can think of the power of the thought, but of a pure person who has developed the mind. So if you have developed your mind and you send those thoughts, that has an effect. Yeah. So who really know these things, they don't go and try to do a lot of, they will meditate. They know they will be affecting the course of the world. You get it?
In that case, both parties, people that you're sending, who try to benefit as well as you,
there's an interesting finding about the brain function. This is very nice if you can refer the YouTube in this, it's called Bro Jim or somebody. Punnaji Bantes. He tests the positive side. He has researched a lot, not like others, he has nicely taken the points. When metta practice, the frontal cortex, the area of the brain which is responsible for memory, analyzing, and sort of reasoning and all that, that gets fully activated, which is opposite to this other one, amygdala, what is he call it? The reptilian brain. Part of the brain. So this is not, he's telling how, the metta really helps you, not the person who you are telling. But I can see when you're really developed, it will also have an effect. But if you're powerful, if your mind is really got good samadhi, it's going to affect the people around you in a very powerful way, in a very easy way. Because a person who is pure, his thoughts get manifested. Yes.
it's a question about man. All the time I thought man was more having measuring people, inferior or superior, that's not good. But I listened to a sermon, and they said that man is more, do we like something or dislike something? That's the measurement we do. Which one is the correct one according to
You see, the mana has different levels of mana. Mana means normally conceit, like this kind of thing.
That's what I was saying.
Yes. Conceit, but then also the sense of self. It has a subtle levels. They normally say, last to go is your ego. Even the anagami is the ego. The sense of I is the last to erase to enter nibbana completely. So, but the sense of I comes also with always with feelings. When you like a feeling.
Attachment or detachment? Not detachment. Attachment or separate?
Both have the sense of. All the three feelings have the sense of I coming from that. You understand? Even if it is equanimous feeling, hatred feeling, or when there's whatever kind of feeling, you are having I. But the I is stronger in the hateful feeling. I is less stronger in the craving feeling. And it's least stronger in the equanimous feeling. Oh, this is a new teaching today. You get it? This now just coming to my mind clearly. Hatred, no, I never. This is sometimes questioning is good, it opens up my. This hatred is a stronger, because that's why I tell formulas how to remove hatred is not metta. It is to remove your desires. And how to remove your desires is to remove your delusion. Because really, the way a person gets angry, you can know his desires. When his desires are there, his energy is drained. So when there's no energy, he feels restless and irritated. That's where anger comes. You get it? It's like a cycle. So it's like, so when you have a lot of desires, you're draining your energy. Then your craving is more, means you're draining your energy. And then you get angry. So if you really want to remove anger, to remove your desires. But why you get desire? Because there's illusions, delusion, about illusions. So when you see when you get wisdom and remove this thing, and if you got the right wisdom, there's no question of attachment. It's like you are looking at a string and suddenly it's a snake, no question to let go. This effect will happen. Can I add that apple, langata apple kill? So if you look at the things really true in the whole world, if you're really seeing something, the test of that you have understood that is you will detach yourself. You will find it is something wrong in that, pain is there. So yeah, now normally many who are meditating and all that, they can control the anger with everybody, but they can't control with their children. Because there's so much expectation, so much attachment. Yeah, but you must know the real good thing is to remove the anger, greed and hate, delusion out of them. You see, so to do that, you will always you remove that in your system, and then you giving the greatest chance for them to, so you learn to rely on no anger mind, no anger, no greed mind, no deluded mind to do your work in life. You see the power in that, and then you see you're walking the path of Dhamma, and that way you will be, you're not having belief in the anger power, greed power. You understand? This is the asuric power. These are the demonic idea of doing things, getting things done, allowing the animal brain to do things. But now we are using the divine energies, divine.
For example, if a child is constantly saying, I don't want to brush my teeth.
Yes.
You're saying, that.
So you have to find now, you must get answer from him, He's a superman in that. You see, once I remember when I was in the university, the 2 years I spent, my father somehow pushed me. I had to go into Nicosia, the university there. So my lecturer, he was very fascinating. He liked me so much, one lecturer. Actually, this gentleman looks someone similar to one of my high school. He was called Gareth Nisbat. We're very similar to his. I just memories were suddenly coming. He was Englishman, but he was same this thing, and really we had a soul connection. Actually, it was very funny. He understood that I was searching for. He wrote in my this thing. Shahanaka is searching for a stimulus and a fulfillment beyond what we English call school. He already knew. It's funny. The teachers have some insight into, like parents also, some of them. Anyway. I'm getting a blackout if I was telling something. Yeah. So I will tell in the university. Yeah. So what happened? I'm giving you what some idea. So that time I'm already practicing, right? I had to go to university, but only 3 months. After 3 months, because I was 21. One friend took me out, and after that my routine all got broken. So that time I remember when I went, suddenly this lecturer was very, he used to give me all the big, even good marks. I used to also be creative because I used to meditate and do the work. So even in management or anything, I take the title and create my own idea. I had that creative, so that was a free, so he was thinking I have read everything and this is what he wanted also. They want. So, but they have the idea not like that. They think you read everything and get new ideas. You don't know you can create it. So what happened? So he gave me, we had a project where 5-6 of us were, like I was put the lead of that project and we had other groups. So all of them were seniors. So I was the new one and they didn't want to listen to me, they didn't care. So one was seated the other way, the other was seated this way, the other was seated that way, and I am speaking to the air, right? So what happened, I realized, so what I said was, I didn't go further. I said, my friends, now we will do the essay, we will do the project, and what we do is each person, now normally we sign in the end, all who have taken part in this. So now I told them, whatever part they have done, that they will be signing underneath that. So that then suddenly they asked, what shall we do now? Because they want marks, they were expecting me to do all the thing. But when you have signed below exactly where you have finished, then who is marking, he knows this one has done this much. So like that you have to check, you have to find ways of, you have to be calm, you never use anger, you don't give something else if that is not done. Sorry? Yeah, but best thing is to start like a Budung Madina or something like that in the like a routine, So his system gets cooled down and gets the proper nourishment, spiritual nourishment, and bring. You have younger ones? No. How old? Okay, yeah, this Budung Madina and all that. This is very helpful. It's good. Sorry. Yeah, like prayer, it doesn't matter, but as a routine, nice to have it in the family. So he gets all these new right impressions to be obedient and to have kindness, and that energy will go into the system. Bring into the program where he's not here, right?
No, because he's going to be conducted in Singapore.
Okay.
And
so you don't know. Okay, right. Oh, that's good. That's good. So like this you must bring also. That's okay. Then okay, that's the best you have given, This you have already given, and then other things, they are destiny. We can't go all the time. We must protect ourselves from being affected or being too worried about them. But I have no experience of being a parent. But still I would see this is the best. If I was a parent, I think do that. I think to protect I did it with my brother, I told, how if I have to deal, even I use the meditation and deal with that. So I used to use meditation for everything. If you're calm, do the work. If you're not calm, make yourself calm and then do. Then you know that calmness is always there, always. And it's a weapon, With what did I go to the LTT? What weapon did I have? I didn't have firearms, nothing. It was the firearms of metta, and I believed in that, and my sila, one thing, and the detachment of seeing that this is not my body, not my thoughts and feelings. They should become practical. There's some power in it. The nature begins to help you. Because they will come into your support. So, Yes.
Can you comment on cause and effect in Buddhism, how central it is compared to
Other what?
other religions or anything else?
It's a big difference. Yeah, it's a very big. Means someone told. I remember one foreigner. He nicely put this word. It's very correct that Buddhism is phenomenology. Phenomenology. I think it's a nice best thing to put. The way it's correct. Study of phenomena. So whether it is spiritual phenomena or anything, it's like a real science. So that really makes a big difference, because everything, like even the God idea or anything that any idea how it comes, the Buddha, this is what he explains, that's why he always says, Ananya Deepa Dhamma Deepa, Ananya Sarana Dhamma Sarana. Don't have any refuge except this refuge of the Dhamma. Now what he means by Dhamma is actually seeing the cause and causality of experience. And to be free, not like, he'd tell normally how to see that through Satipatthana. Say you're coming to a moment of death or some big crisis. And any disturbance is actually because of your craving, your attachment. That is the cause for the suffering. Now that is cause, okay? So, but the cause for craving is delusion. So if you see the thing that is causing suffering as the illusion of it, the cause is removed. Then the other thing happened. No illusion, no craving, no suffering. So I experienced this when I was, with poison, this thing. First I was unfocused, with ignorant way. Then I was fearing and then worry and all that. Then slowly, immediately I applied to observe the body. Saw it's wounded. Yesterday I was talking about the office also. Remember? Office, when I had the pressure suddenly. So it was all stress and everything. Then suddenly, when I was walking, I tried to when I pay attention to what I was feeling. Then you're seeing the illusion through and thinking, this is not my pain, not my problem. If it's mine, it can't be painful. I could control it. So when you look like that, you're removing the cause of ignorance. That ignorance, seeing this in that way, wrong way. And when I was doing that, I was getting detached. So attachment is the cause of suffering. When detachment was there, the problem was there, but I was not feeling it. So this is a whole practice is removing the cause. Now even addiction to certain things. Now in the internet, some of I may be okay. I will tell this now. Internet, some of the people who are addicted to certain things, Oh, I couldn't tell this. Okay. Regarding the rules, like I told you, like grave offense and minor offense, like there are levels the Buddha has told. Now grave offense, if the 4 are broken, you have to disrobe. There are 13 which is to do with brahmacharya. 13 rules. If you break them, you can recover from them, but there is a process. But they are given for our benefit. Now sometimes some people will think, like in Paris they ask me, Bante, how to practice, how to observe 5 precepts. I said, my friends, 5 precepts observe you. we don't know why these rules are there for your protection. It's not that you have to like a burden observe these things to be a Buddhist or somebody. But you have to understand how it's functioning. So I never forget, like you say, Buddha has given for monks these levels of rules. So the grave offense rules are connected with brahmacharya, that is celibacy rules. Now these particular the first 2, when you break them in sexual experience, actually, it's a peak experience. I can't tell the word because it's not very nice. I mean, so if you break that particular, you have to go through the highest experience of the sexual experience. When you are going through that experience, only you break that rule. So when that happens, the MRI scan shows the reptilian brain takes over the entire brain. That means the frontal cortex or this area is completely shut down, and the grey matter is thinned. You know, the one that makes you, especially a human being, which has that special part, gets shut down completely. So I was thinking how the Buddha would have known these things. How he had an MRI scan. I mean, until you wait until science science doesn't need to catch up. Science have to catch up with Buddhism. Buddhism doesn't have to catch up with science. This is ridiculous, because it's already enlightened, the master. So if we have some value for truth, we will, really find out. So what happened? This is very interesting for me also. It was for me because that now those activities in the old Buddha's time, it was happening in few people only. First 10, 20 years it didn't happen among the monks. After 20 years it was happening. Then he kept, don't do this. This is grave offense. Don't do that. Like that he led. Now that time in the society also it was not happening. So today the way we understand Brahmacharya, is very different. That time, today it has gone to perversions. That's why we attract unseen spirits who are eating that muck in the system, the fluid that is created in the body. So this was very interesting for me. Now this effect that is happening, it takes over the entire brain. Now knowing this damage in the Western countries, even in Europe and even America, I got to know, in YouTube you'll find, there are groups like vegan, who they follow, take all this natural food. Another group who know the damage of this being not celibate or doing these perverted activities, that they keep away from it, because it's a challenge, because one has got addicted to these things. They are keeping away for like 7 days observing this, 90 days observing this. Like, that's very good. So I thought our people should be knowing more better. When we know Buddhism, but we don't know to relate it to this modern period, unfortunately. So this group is called NoFap. I hope you can refer. I mean, for young people it's most important. I think from the age of 14, they should be taught these things. Those days there was an idea called Kumara Brahmacharya, Prince Celibacy. This name is also not known. So there was a practice, knowing the benefit for studies and for being a wholesome life, that you have to keep away from this exciting druggy thing. It's like a drug, and very well it is found now. Now actually the same addictive of the heroin, now with the internet, that even pornography and things like that, that's exactly the heroin level of this thing. And then it leads to what I call now, that to remove that only, this NoFap group has been formed. So I don't think you'll ever hear this from any monk, I tell you that. Better take a note of this, because this topic no one will touch unless you really get a shock and clarity of it. You will be your secret life will go on, and it will damage your whole future, spiritual evolution and your mental peace. And some of them, at the age of 70, they were telling me, Bhante, no one told me. Not Bhante, they in India, one ashram. Swamiji, no one told us these things. 70 years old man, he was doing all these things. And we also got caught, tell you honestly. I mean, I wish someone told these things to us. School, this is all my findings, I would say. and I had to, if I had this knowledge, I would have really made a better, but this is what my karma was. So this keeping away, and I told you how you become beautiful, nice. Otherwise, you go like this. Your cheeks, it goes like this, Sorry. Yes.
A lot of these very big billionaires lost their careers because of this problem.
How? I am interested too. Lost their careers?
Yeah, because they have been, sexually abusing people.
Okay.
Especially men of power.
Oh, right. Very good. Very good. Yeah, I know. Yeah, no point.
Not just the Hollywood people.
Yeah.
This for a long time.
Yeah.
And people came out with it.
Okay.
And after that, many other industries.
Yeah, you can see.
And then finally, a lot of these people.
Correct.
And even their wives were dead. So
Yeah.
everything.
That's right. Within me. Thank you for telling me that. You see what I'm saying? I think we are like prophets, coming in the timely, exactly what is going on in the modern to protect. So now it's true. You can see, how, just imagine. This is reality, right? They become a scandal and all that.
And then this person is going to therapy and all that.
My goodness.
Probably what must have happened is when you have controlled some of the things that you were telling from
Yeah. That's right. Correct.
power to probably
Yeah. They having double life, you know.
to abuse these innocent people.
Yeah.
Like people like actresses. So I mean, it's amazing too.
Yeah. Correct. This is the result of definitely if these things are. So this is the side where you have to now. These have come out. So many other things which are not come out, you know. And but people will suffer. When the Buddha says like this, it can't be the other way. We are told these are dangerous so much. But the nicest thing is the medical, you know, the findings, how the brain functions. It shows exactly the if you look at now the drug addicts and so on. So this sexual thing is full of a drug. It has a druggy thing, you know, in the way the hormones are this thing, and from the age of 14, it's easy to get into drugs also because your receptors get open up, the hormones work in that direction. So suddenly, you know, it's the easiest period to catch.
And they become habits and then they become character.
Yes. Then character means it makes you weak character, a weak personality.
That's what I say.
Yeah, that's bad character.
And then a bad reputation.
Definitely, those are things you experience, but the mental stress the person is going through, hidden life, and if you have love for human being as a person, you try to, you know, really, he may be your brother. Yeah, thank you for reminding me that point. I can understand now. Even Bill Clinton, no, he was also offered this thing. So it's uncontrollable behavior that would come suddenly because of that lack of, you know. So other things are some, you know, they keep it even age of 70, 80. Their mind has not been cleared. I got to know the aged homes, you know, in Australia. Maybe this is definitely happening here. Some who have been working there, they tell how some of them, you know, they even think of marriage at that age and have relationship at that age and thinking age 70, 80. And because psychologically this is not, now you can have a young body, but if you're trained, you will become desireless. Now the Arahants were there, their body is young, but they had no passions because that was fully developed, that wisdom. I told you the inner richness. So normally the inner richness is also called in the Dhammapada, well-thatched roof. If the well-thatched roof is there, water does not seep when the rain falls. So that is well-thatched means that inner richness of wisdom. And now some have also wisdom. I notice some of them. I noticed when I was traveling, like some of the monasteries also there. The wisdom is there in a knowledge form, not in an experiential form. So there is also a secret life there. So unless it becomes like you are looking at a tablet, studying all these things about the tablet, never taking it. So when you are not taking or studying, you look like you have taken the tablet when you talk, but in your actions doesn't show whether you have taken it. This should be recorded, right? These are very timely. So actions should represent. That's what you have read. Whether it really has gone into your system. So it's better you have little bit even gone than knowing anything about it. Yeah, Hollywood.
So some people say that, you know, they want to get married at that age for partnership. It's just a
companionship.
Companionship. That's just a justification.
Because they're still lonely, you know, and they are not satisfied fully. Yeah. Satisfied means there's something they feel. They are in their idea. They feel that mainly for companionship. They have no energy for any other thing now. That age, I understand. So it's a psychological need. Even they don't have no proper parents, nothing. No, they just loneliness, to remove the loneliness. So last one, shall we? And any other question? It's interesting when you talk and give questions. Then I also get some awakening. Yes.
I have a more abstract question. Somebody talked about the Dhamma and how that's cause and effect.
I didn't explain much about the cause and effect. Slightly in a practical way I was telling, yes.
But my question is, I've always heard everything is impermanent. Does that include the Dhamma?
Dhamma, what Dhamma? You mean the visions of Dhamma, or you have the study of Dhamma? That is all impermanent, of course. Yes, like the experience of the teachings, there are two, like the methodology of the teachings is there, and the experiencing is also Dhamma. You mean the experience? It's
I think the philosophy, I guess.
okay. Whether it's impermanent. Okay. You mean if you mean like this? Okay, like the philosophy is there to get you somewhere. It's like a vehicle. Okay, to get you to a permanent place. You understand? So you use it to come to the permanent place. The vehicle is, you're using the impermanent things that helps you to come to the permanent place. It's called the philosophy, the Dhamma. This is that type of Dhamma, the teachings. Okay? So that is definitely impermanent. But you're coming out of that into a permanent thing. Not, you can't call a thing a permanent something. Something is always impermanent, but somewhere. Okay? So that has no, because you're coming to, this actually you're using something that arises in time to come to that does not arise. So you cannot have something to arise and that will not change, it will change. So this is the only solution Buddha gives, that no arising is there, therefore there's nothing to pass away. So he shows desires makes things arise, and complete desirelessness makes things not to arise. So this path is, the philosophy is to remove the desire, but desire comes because of ignorance or delusion. Fantasy, delusion, ignorance. So he brings this wisdom, understanding. And if you get it, if that is the means. When you get that understanding is like a crossing thing, that understanding about the illusion. So as long as the illusion is there, you can observe this illusion. And then when you finish observing, and when you finish the illusion, there's nothing to observe, nothing to talk about. It's like the complete causes for that type of phenomena is absent. It's like a fire was burning, you are giving fuel, then that fuel you keep on giving, it's burning, and then you stop putting the fuel, what is left over, it burns off with that, and the fire disappears, it doesn't burn anymore. But you can't say where the fire went, So that's the place where this whole practice is taking you to.
How is what explained to us was that if you use a boat to cross a river,
Yes.
and then once you cross the river,
Yes.
if you get rid of all the illusion, that's a simile.
Yes.
And then you don't get attached to the boat, you let the boat go.
Yes. You definitely, to get out of the boat, you have to leave the boat, right?
Right.
So you can't keep one foot inside the boat and the other foot.
But then you don't have the attachment to the boat. Once you get off the boat,
Yes.
you let it go.
This attachment is called subtly, if I don't know how to tell like this, like the desire for insight. This is a special type of desire, very subtle one, where you have a desire for the vision. So this is normally, even the anagamis, they completely eradicate that. And the arahants are the ones, I would say, they would not have any, even the Dhamma attachments. Yes?
I may be completely wrong, but I think that this example, boat is not correct. Boat is a physical thing which is impermanent. But let's take the example of Avyasthangika Marga.
Yes.
That is, maybe at some point of time, there may be people who have not understood that thought. But that practice is still there. Although, see, what we say, Buddha found that out. And then there have been
Right.
So, but that practice is going to be there.
You mean like that path is there, though we don't notice it or not?
Yeah.
It's there. Okay. But it become aware for us when we know it.
Yeah.
That's how it is.
So what I'm saying is, just because it is not known to us and extend that to the whole world, all the living beings, not known to anybody until the Buddha comes and finds that out, but it is still somewhere there.
Yeah, it is. The path is there. Someone reveals it, like a theory of relativity, for example. Before Einstein, it was still there, operating. But then Einstein comes and notices it.
Yeah, so that the theory of relativity was found by Einstein, but it's not there. So,
Yeah, it does.
so from now I'm thinking, in that case, they are impermanent. Whereas Purna Buddha was product that eightfold path is there. Reality now. In the mind, yeah, mind is impermanent.
Yeah, right.
But you see, it's like that picture. We both can see one. But I don't know that red color is red to you, but yeah. So the same thing that what you understand. Huh? Inside mind, what you get from everything from your five senses, that's
But every experience of thinking and even Dhamma thinking or anything is constantly changing from one to the other. So it's only that, so you use it to come to what is unchanging. So that is something, that special thinking of seeing the cause and effect of things. And I think the Yoniso Manasikara. So actually you reduce the thinking to one thought. This is very helpful for this experience. That's why Samadhi is very helpful. Where your mind is not thinking much, then this Dhamma, when you don't think and then think, that is the one type of thinking we need. Intuition we call it normally. So first we learn not to think much. So that's why we reduce those passions and things, so slow down this process. And we see the mental bliss in it. So this is already we are traveling a certain path. When you're driving, removing the addictions, these are the practical way to, to slowly, so already these are already conduct part of the Arishtanga Marga, Sila Skandha. So, and today we have to add new things for the Sila Skandha because things have gone a little bit out of bounds. So like that, when you're clearing that, automatically with that the Samadhi will happen. There's no question of struggling to do it. And when Samadhi is there, you will see truths which you never saw before. There's no struggle. If you struggle, there's something wrong in the basics. Simply that. That's why I said those days when the hair was cut, they saw the truth. So this is what we lack today. We are impatient and we get some things intellectually and then we are satisfied with that verbal Nibbana. You understand? And not the experiential one. That should make you a saint. The Nibbana that makes you a saint. It makes you a pure person, enhances your good qualities. And people will feel that radiance and aura, which washes the unwholesome qualities. Even in your presence, this should happen. Your personality, again, that spiritual personality will be formed. Sil Suvanda, the Guna Suvanda. Eva Nati Nibbana, Kwadakna, those things will go together. The Sila, Samadhi, Panya, these will go together. We have in our subconscious some idea of actually, maybe we would have associated in the past, we would have seen even far away the Buddhas or the Arahants. We have some idea that they are tranquilized people. They are not agitated. We have some idea in the subconscious. So I think there's also some truth in it. You have the olden sayings, Santindriya, Santa Manasa, Santang Tesang, Gatang Chittang, Okita Chakku, Mitabani, Tadisa Sramanamama. Calm words, calm thoughts. The faculties are pure. Santang Tesang Gatang Chitta. When they are going, it's like floating. Tadisa Sramanama. It's something about the personality of those beings. Santa Kayo, Santa Vacho, Santa Bambalapitiye miso bhikkhu. Tadisa Sramanamama. Calm body, calm words, calm the thoughts. They've given up attachment like a morning spit, you don't swallow it in, you feel displeasure. Like that they have had displeasure to the world. Gnanaloka miso bhikkhu, tadisa sramanam. May I be such a saint. These are the old, the recorded, some of the verses of. This should be our ideal, when we are practicing this, there should be our ideal mentally. One day we must follow them. They are our masters, guidance. So I know something new to you all this time, right? Little bit, many new things. from this monk. Actually, in what is this place? Australia, they have this children's program. That's how the children's program started. I'm not doing the children's program. This is what other monks have been doing. I tell them to bring in the program altogether. This vibration, that will do something, no problem. So what happened? They got to know there was a mad monk coming, This whole area was filled with children never coming to the temple. If you look at that clip, even the parents equal to so the hall was not enough, so they had another hall. I felt so touched how the parents were, all there. And I came from, I think, Pindapata with the people who were bringing me. I saw everywhere, like the Vesak time, they were telling the vehicles. And so when I went in, I knew the parents were so anxious. And I saw, I think the other organizing people, they sent the parents to another hall. And so I came to the crowd and I went to where the parents were there. They never expected that I'm going to come there. I saw that sort of driving, that how so much interested they are about their children, and they should get something. And some with tattoos, and in, I don't know, Australia, they must be some of the young boys. They're really mixed with it's okay. I mean, they really have great potential, I know. Some people have to be, they have to see the greatness of observing the sila, greatness of compassion and wisdom. The soft power is so powerful than all this roughness and all these other. You must get the spiritual high, not the high from the drugs. And go like a lion. The other one creates you nervousness and looks like a nerd. This one makes you like a, you can go. You're not frightened to face anything. So we do a last, what is it now? I talk about, seeing, now many of our problems are removed when we see, normally those days, like the hard nature-wise. Most of you stayed, how many stayed today, the whole day retreat, like? 2, 3. So what did you do? Morning. Like what? Dhammadis. Okay. That's good. And did you try to practice something like walking meditation or something like that? Or sitting? Okay. So that's the reason why you do that, like for get focus and to get established. All this there's another reason, is to get this vision of reality. That normally we call vipassana. To see really who we are. Who is this Gnanaloka? That is the main purpose of this. And to really know that, to find who you are. Now someone asked me, Bante, it's nice to know about previous lives and many lives back, if you have some power. I said, yeah, but more nice to know about who you are. You see? What do you remember? What do you remember? You may remember you were tortured or some problem, some this, that. What was it? A body. You remember a body. You name that body. Even previous life, you'd have had a body. Right? Now nothing is left. Maybe the skeleton is left, right? You had a name for that. You brushed teeth. All that you did. You gave a name. Maybe I would have called Rajendra or something. I would have been in the Himalayas, some yogi. And so some name was given. Same thing happened into this body. So that time you thought that body was you, right? So it's nice to see really how, so that if you remember that, you feel you were tortured, you did this, something happened to you, and you have trauma about the memory of it and all that. Now my friend, if you get to know that person was not you, how much problems get solved? Now to have self-realization is more important. If you have who you are, if you get to know suddenly this body was never you, this is not you, then what, you go back to past lives? Because are you going to look at something which is not you? You are not. Will you have any anticipation of the future? You will not. I wish I could really go deeply into this topic. Maybe ever I come back to human beings, I will be explaining that part more. Because I think I have covered the parts of clearing the way. Because this you have to think much, and you get this insight, you're free. You'll be so much free. You will be, look at this, by seeing that only Angulimala, Maharatana, serial killer, his karmas were finished, extinguished, burnt off. If he did Bodhi Pujas and Katina Pinkamas, and I'm not telling they are bad, but will it be enough? It will never burn those karmas away. That insight knowledge burnt the karmas away. Seeing that he was saying he was reborn again, reborn with enlightenment. That's the power that will remove the karma. I was telling even more than Katina, if you go relaxingly driving, I was telling that practice of holding the steering wheel, that's more powerful than the Katina Pinkama or the Bodhi Pujas you have done, or danas you have given. But we don't know the mechanism completely, so we see something lights, everybody praising us, and all this, paraphernalia. I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's great saddha. We should get that Buddhalamana Piti. That's also if you get Buddhalamana Piti, then only it's great win these pinkamas. If you get a tear coming, superb. That's greater than the dana you have given. That is going towards the kusala side of it. Even from Buddhalamana Piti, you get like a very light feeling. You don't care whether they acknowledge you did the pinkama, or somebody did something. These are not going to, you're not going for those kind of things for in the pinkama. Or someone took, ahead and blocked your pinkama. Nothing. You get, sometimes when you get upset like that, you will have to do so many pinkamas to cancel that upset karma. That is so. But I am not only telling just to encourage you all to do the meditation, but I must tell you there are great blessings of giving the Katina Pinkama. There are devatas all rejoice. There are good things, but I am telling you, if you take that only as a margapala, that's dangerous. You do that. I'm not telling. But if you are meditating that time and that is disturbing your meditation, that Katina Pinkama or giving dana, don't do it. Leave it that side. So learn to see which is more important. If you're getting $1 million from that, why you're going for a $2-3 thing?
So when we do we always we have to see it as a process that's happening from us.
When you are doing a pinkama, do it like with meditation, without getting tired with the pinkama.
Yeah, I was thinking like, I did it having a lifestyle, and then I saw it as just like happening, like, without too much of my involvement. But then I was thinking, so I thought like it is supposed to happen by
Yes.
like that.
Like
that. Then I thought maybe I shouldn't be thinking that way, because that way I'm not rejoicing too much. So I don't know what is the right way. I clearly saw that it's happening because of the cause and effect.
Right.
Like without me much rejoicing. So
Okay, I understand. You must rejoice also without attachment. If you don't have attachment, you will not have any disappointments of how the pinkama who goes on. But you must use it for rejoicing also. But it's okay, now it's done. That's okay. So the rejoicing part, you must make use of that situation. You are now in that circumstance. So you use the pinkama, okay? You enjoy it. You see, I got a great opportunity. It's very...
yeah, I was happy like that, but then I was I didn't want to think like this. I was doing it like that.
Okay. Right.
I don't know how to say it. Like, it's just happened.
Okay, right. Yeah.
And then I sometimes I was rejoicing, and then I don't know whether I should be rejoicing or not. I had some kind of confusion.
That's okay. Whatever way you took part in a Katina Pinkama like that, you got the chance to do like that, you'd be happy with that. You understand? So now you should be happy that you got such an opportunity. And that happiness is okay. Only thing you must know there's something more to be done also. That you must learn to, even now, even when you're driving the vehicle, when you're calm and you are not tired about what you're doing, you're gaining great kusal, great meditation, great. Now 7 years of metta bhavana took with dhyana happening to the bodhisattva, 32 times as Sakradevendra, 12 times as Chakravarti. Just imagine, just minutes now, sometimes in the end of the program I do something, just how much loads of merit it might happen if that feelings come really. If you are just doing Suvapatetva, that's not the dhyana, samadhi or anything, but if you get those higher feelings and this thing, the power of the mind it's a creator. It can create, so I see some people doing lot of pinkamas, but you can see how the way they are doing, sometimes they have no real respect for sila also. So I can see they are not even progressing this life, you can notice that. That should have been the way they would have done in the past lives. So sometimes they don't see that sila is higher, or they feel they have to take observe sila. Now what you have done today is much greater than cutting a pinkam and all that, the sila. Even if you don't meditate, just simply half a day sila, bodhisattva, it took me him to Devaloka. Have you heard about that? No? I was surprised. I'm very happy that you all, I really feel a little guilty that I couldn't give you more support from the beginning. I'm in a big, you must know I am now in a, I'm touching my head also. I don't know whether it's affecting my brain also. I'm not feeling too much for me. I don't feel I can go on. That stamina is there, but who knows me, they would know that maybe I would not even do this kind of thing. Because I can withstand a lot of feelings or experiences, but then it's too much always program after program. It's never been like that. For 3 months now, every day is okay, because but it's not a simple Suvapatetva. There's some energy going, and that's different. Not like normally monk coming and preaching. He can just pick up from his room and come, but I can't do that. I'm in a kind of something, I don't know. You understand? Right. Yeah. But I'm so glad to meet you all, right? Yes. But the other 4 programs look like 4 years, For me, but you told them, no? That even after 1 program, I'm ready to take me, because I'm in a sort of a zone.
So we wish you all the best,
Thank you.
This kind of
Thank you.
all of us, and long life, and
Thank you.
a lot of energy.
Thank you. So I do the last demonstration, okay? So I told you about if you're going to refer, next time if you're meditating, if you're staying on a retreat, you must have a master to always, right? We don't know, we might have a monk coming and teaching you or anybody, but we don't know how far they have understood this. So I stress that you must have the Buddha, we know he is the master, right? So, but Buddha means not something someone tells you about the Buddha. He tells parts and here and there, not the full thing. So I really recommend that you should have the Buddha's teaching, original teaching, a direct translation with you always. So if your English is familiar, the translations are very clear. I recommend this word of the Buddha by Gnanaloka Mahathera. Gnanaloka Mahathera, the word of the Buddha. This has a handy book under the 4 Noble Truths. It talks about the conditionality, all that, but explained by the Buddha. And the four elements. And the other one is Middle and Discourses by Bhikkhu Bodhi. If you don't understand the sutta, just skip that. Go to the next one. Then the next one. What is interesting, just take it out. Apply it. Just apply. There are so many which talks about the elements, those are the suttas which make you have insight. They are your kamatahana. And no one can trick you then. Then the Buddha becomes your master, your guru. So this is important. This Sri Lanka is something, so sometimes Sinhala translations is a problem, but there are like Nadi Mahale translation, and the Soisa I heard is okay, but you have to try. It's not that you have to learn all the suttas or anything, just Satipatthana Sutta, just one verse may be the one that will trigger that insight. So just little reading, little meditation, Buddha Guna Metta, it should go mixed like that. So I have given you all the points. Don't think this I'm just coming like, so many years of, I can get Buddha through the Dhamma. and that will, your life is complete. So normally he tells about one part where it's like the hard nature. Those days there was no idea of electrons, right? So he was telling like hard nature here, hard nature here. It's just a nature wise. There's a purpose why he want to show you like that. Now if you see all of you like electrons, you don't name anyone differently. Like you all look same. The same way he used to show in terms of the 4 elements: Apo, Tejo, Vayu, Patavi. So the hard one, hard nature is the solid nature. The hard nature here and the hard nature here is simply nature. When you take it as simply that nature, you don't think this is my teeth. It's just hard nature. Because it's in this space you get the sense of I. Like you have urine or in your bladder, it goes into this thing. When it's here, you think it's my urine, right? But when it goes into the water, do you think it's mine? No. So to separate like this is a meditation. When you separate, you really know there's not a person there. It's when things come together, you get an illusionary idea of self. But for this, you must calm your mind. And you must see from your meditation. Other හෙට යන්න නැතුව මට එහෙම ලංකාවට කියන හරි නේද මහත්තයා? මට එහෙමත් හිතෙනවා සමහරට. හෙට උදේ බලමු. මට උදේ ෆිට වුණාම ඉතින් යන්න හිතෙනවා. කොහොම හරි කැනඩා කට්ටිය විතරයි බලන් ඉන්නේ. බලමු. හාමුදුරනේ. Sorry, to Canada? Yeah. If I survive from the next Himalaya trip, we'll see. Now I'm going. I have given enough tools, and I hope if you keep in mind, if anyone really wants to do something, I'm now also telling what your master, your teacher, you can get the information from the Buddha directly. Don't rely to get from monks. We don't know, that is not a good, that is not reliable. They might be fashionable sometimes, they might be also, but who knows whether they really guide you to whether they have really seen this truth. And only something we can have idea about their actions, but that we have to stay all the time with them maybe, and only that way, some behavior. But sometimes we interpret according to our defilements, it can be also wrong. So, but anyway, it doesn't matter, whatever you get, you use it, and you find that you're developing, from what you were getting angry before or irritated, now you're getting less, your desires are getting less, okay, you're on a right path. But I recommend you take the instruction directly, keep it near your bedside, go through it, watch whatever contemplating parts come, just watch, keep relaxed and observe. Whatever that is said, apply to you. So just he tells about the hard nature like that, okay? So, but when you look at it in terms of nature, it's a concept, the idea of person. So I need someone's hair. I will do this. Can anyone donate a little bit hair for me? I know you're waiting to do. I'm giving you rest, right? When you become bigger, more, I will. You all now look. How old is he? He looks very big. It's a big man. How old are you? Okay. You'll become a handsome big man one day, I know. And not you, right? Will it? Maybe one day I come, I will take you for that. Anyone else want to give? I take his hair, okay? Come, please come. A lot of hair here. All right. I missed some of the points in the beginning. Maybe you might have to go to the YouTube, the program. I gave some, I think might help you some of the points, okay? So, you remind me of my friends in Lesotho, Southern Africa. I was there, I brought up there. They used to call me, this is my man, my boy. Right? I forget. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel this is your hair? How do you feel?
Yeah, I feel it.
Okay, this is your hair, right? It's not a wig, huh?
No, not really, because you can snatch it off.
So, is this your hair?
Yeah.
Okay, I asked him whether it's hair. He says, it's my hair, and I think so. Okay, I think so. Now, how do you feel? Do you feel it's your hair?
No.
No, huh? Thank you. You can take a seat. Just imagine how fast it became no. Just imagine. It was all the time no. But just because it was in this space, you get the sense of I. Now this cutting should be done by your mind. This is a meditation. I'm trying to make it graphic, but this is, we are not observant of this. I hope it will not disturb your style. You have plenty of hair, no problem. But I really recommend you to go through the first explanations. It might help you. I didn't because I sort of come to this thing after telling some things which might be for practical purpose. So then this you can see, just because it's in this space, you get the sense of I. So when you do like that, I have taught this way of observing the 4 elements and seeing you're like empty. You remove it, but it needs a calmness of mind to do this. Right? The calmness means certain purity. When you all have these exciting things, you can't get that mind to work. So when I have explained like this, very interesting, some of the wives, then suddenly the husband was scolding to them, when they were in the kitchen or somewhere. Suddenly they didn't react back because they saw this like this is not their ear. It is like made out of elements and it's just a vibration. And when they were able to focus like that and wait, they didn't feel their husband was scolding, that there's husband also. It is just a mind picture. And when they were, so this is important, it must be made practical in your day-to-day activities.
That's what my problem is. So I'm asking, so when we do good things also, are we supposed to think that way, or we supposed to think that we are doing it? Like when we give done. So I know, so when we do bad things, like somebody scolding or something like that, then we try to show there's no media, I'm just here, that's only action like that. But when we do good things like cutting so then how do I...
That time also you must do that.
That's it.
Yeah, good. Constantly you must do. And if you're doing it and then you find the dana and the katina is disturbing you to do that, then better not to do it. Because this is greater, what you're doing there. To be detached, to get knowledge, wisdom.
So even when those things come, it's better to be detached.
It's superb to do, because otherwise, people get angry and people come in your way and you're not going to react. So you get the nice pinkama blessings also, and then you get the blessings of becoming enlightened.
But the problem is then the rejoicing part is also...
No, this is higher rejoicing of having detachment. This is still, this is heroin, the other one is ganja. Better go for the heroin. I don't know in America, sorry?
But at the same time, if you want to do it with the detachment, but if you have an enormous amount of shraddha, doing a pinkama is the best possible as you can, but still you don't attach to it.
Yes.
So, was it okay?
You can know whether you didn't get attached, and if you don't get irritated or upset by anything, then that level, then with that kind of effect, if the saddha is there, no problem. But something makes you like upset and this thing, then that saddha, that means you have had attachment and that work has become too much for you. You understand? Like you have to... So most important, your mental state, that it becomes happier, rejoicing, light. If you are doing nothing, no meditation, nothing, this is best, the pinkamas or danas, that time very important. This must be done. There are some people, they say this is like this detached, they don't do anything. For them, they should be doing this. So that is also bad. That's like a kapatikama, So you must, but I think good thing is to do both. If you get the opportunity, you do those pinkamas also, but don't neglect the meditation. But if the pinkama is disturbing your meditation at one place, then for that occasion leave the meditation is more important. Like that you must. So we are coming to the end, right? But I feel less tired when you ask questions, When I had to tell those boring things it's tired for me. I like when then my other brain is working, then I feel fresh. Thinking brain. It's okay, no? I think so. So I think, but I really want to stress this. I hope you can on your own read the suttas separately. This is my main advice. That means to meet the Buddha separately. You ever?
Are there specific sutras that you recommend us to go by at this time?
I told you about Word of the Buddha as a structure book, which is taken out of suttas, but you get immediately, not the bulky, the books, just you have a handy book. And then the Majjhima Nikaya, and slowly go through one by one. But that should be now. I know you all are having a sutta, this thing and all that. Not that way. Okay, that's okay. But there are ways to apply it. Like the original time of the Buddha. Not trying to connect suttas and that becomes intellectual. You understand? Don't connect them and classify. This kind of attachment is dangerous also. It poisons the effect. You should make it that it's like a simple, where the parts come, you learn to apply. Now, you know exactly now, I was talking about how to rest, relax, like Iriyapate, Indriya Sangvara. Those suttas are there, Buddha explains those things. Now, that was given, like Ganaka Muggallana, gradual training. This is, they are to develop samadhi. That means he is preparing them for Nibbana in the future. So, you should know whether you are doing in practical life those things. And the other one is he talks about 5 skandhas, Paticca and like this, the 4 noble truths. They are to make you see Nibbana. So there you must know that must be applied to you. You should not, then you must relax and apply, and then sort of see. You have to do like that. There's a practice like that. You can do that more when you have samadhi. That's the thing. So when you don't have samadhi, then this is don't make any meaning. So when you will not have samadhi when you have problems with your character. So that's like that it follows. Okay. So now we do the last 5-10 minutes the meditation, and then we'll be ending this program. What's the time now? Maybe 3 hours today. Today, last program, no shortcut, no, it was. Yeah. Yes. But yesterday you all were here, right? So you get overdosage, I think. Yeah. Don't worry, all of them will get all the support, I hope. And where is the person? Swapatitva. So there's a meditation you must do. We start with that. I told you like how to relax your body, one technique. Just relax. Very vigorously, right? Take all your stress away. You find, it makes a big difference. I have created this for you all in this modern day. Just this should go like a Bambalapitiye. So that means you relax the hands, If you're stiff like this, is no good. Like this, yeah. You can do when you have to let go the hand. And relax. Oh boy. Baba nakitat ekkane handai. Now when you relax like that, you should be enjoying your sitting. Actually you should sit in a comfortable place. It may be when your legs are straight, leaning, no problem. I think I want you to, for this practice, really comfortably to enjoy your sitting. You're seated in a, really. So while you're seated like that, pay attention to the sounds you're hearing immediately. You can hear the air-conditioned sound. Properly pay attention to the sound. When you're paying properly to the sound, air condition, the sound, all the while relaxing. When you're properly making the sound, awareness of the sound, you'll notice something naturally happening in your body. You'll notice your in-breathing and out-breathing. Not anapanasati or anything. I just want you to naturally notice you will notice naturally the lungs expanding, the chest area, especially when the air goes out, how you draw in the air, inhalation and the outer exhalation. When you are noticing that, you must relax with it. Then you pay attention to like how you're seated. Just look at yourself like from outside. Like you look at yourself from outside, what you're dressed, maybe a t-shirt, maybe a jacket, in my case robes. Just note what you're dressed and how your body is seated. While you're noticing like that, now you contemplate your body. Now you take, if you're ever reading the words of the Buddha, that is your meditation object. Whatever he tells you, you begin to observe. He says, this body, rupam bhikkhave anatta. Body is not yours. Then he says, why is it not yours? It's abadaya. Is subjected to affliction. Sangvatteya. It doesn't follow your orders. Labbeta cha rupe. Evam me rupam hotu. Evam me rupam ma hositi. When you say Dabadaya, subject to affliction, you must picture your own body. It will get old and it will die. Can you stop this? Grandparents, great-grandparents, whatever conventional way you know about this, you should relate it to you. You definitely know that other people experience this. Therefore, it has to happen to me too. Abada is afflicted. You can't order, may my body be like this, may my body not be like that. If you tell it not to get old, not to die, it will not follow your orders. because it has these qualities. You must picture those qualities. In a slow way, you must contemplate about it. Without a body, you don't have consciousness. Through consciousness only you see a body also. And you experience anything. Whether in this room, about your family. This is all because you are conscious in a way. If the body is the base of consciousness, if body is not yours, consciousness also not yours. Whatever you are experiencing, you will get to know this is not me also. Whether you call this is my mama, my dada, this is my husband, wife, this is my boss. These are perceptions in the consciousness. So they are all actually not yours. If you can let go all of them, seeing the truth, how peaceful it is. Letting go this body and consciousness. Your mind be free. Closing yourself, coming close to Nibbana. If you fully experience this, you will be in Nibbana. So this how peaceful I will be. Without any greed in the mind, hate in the mind, delusion in the mind. Then you must think, this same happiness may it be experienced by the people in the room here, this hall. All of them, may they come to this happiness. Not only in this hall, all who are in this particular neighborhood, vicinity. Like you're going in a helicopter. There are people living in those houses. Entire Atlanta state, Georgia, Atlanta city, and this Georgia, the entire state. And then you go to Texas and all North America, Canada, like you're going in a helicopter, South America, Central America, Africa, Europe, Mediterranean, England, India, China, Australia, Russia, Middle East, Iran, Iraq, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Japan, Taiwan, Korea, entire humanity in this globe. May they get this peace of mind, this strength of mind. Not only human beings, all the animals, unseen spirits, bhutas, pretas, and the lower suffering worlds, Vetarani, Paduma, Avicchya. From the lowest worlds of suffering to the highest Devalokas, angel worlds, they don't have much greed, hate and delusion. But if it completely disappears, how peaceful they will be. Like the Arahants. Not only them, Brahmalokas, they have no greed, no hate, but they have this delusion, the sense of I. When they see conditionality, when that is also experienced, no sense of I whatsoever, like in the Arahants. This Brahma Purohita, Brahma Parisat, entire Brahma world, may they come to this experience, from the highest to the lowest. All sentient beings. Especially send some blessings to the homeless in Georgia state, every other state who are drug addicts, suffering families. May there be some cosmic blessings to all those human beings who are in stronger, greater suffering, so that the Master's compassion of this perfecting perfections for so many lives and coming to that supreme compassion as a Samma Sambuddha, as a pupil of Him. May this energy go to all people, all living beings. වහන්සේගේ මේ ලෝකේ තාලයන් ඉස්සර anyone having any particular problem, you can raise your hand if you want me to give me some. After the program, if it is some real problem, physical or emotional, some real trauma problem, you can tell the organizer. You might be able to meet me for a few minutes. Something that doctors can't cure or something like that complicated, you can meet in where I'm staying. But try tonight not to talk too much. This certain energy that is going out, if you talk, it will go back. They are coming from like the Himalayas, the ones who are never meeting people and staying in silence. So those people, it will, just in the night also you will get some blessings if you keep quiet as possible. Take dinner or something, but tomorrow morning you can talk. If you want to get more blessings out of it. Rupatevan. Dukin midetvan. Perapim matuyevan. Dharma saktiya, dharma saktiya. Arkadana matya. Just wait some time. Close your eyes. 5 minutes. Close your eyes.